Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our part 2 presentation. We have a brand new chat show going on, YouNow, which has taken a little bit more of our memory. So we have been having some problems with XSplit, and we're running through a series of methods to simplify what's on our board here to kind of resolve it. But please don't come in here and post hateful things. Thank you. I'm closing some tabs right now, but in order to close some tabs,
I can work on that.
I don't need to worry about the Paradise Papers right now, but
I can just close tabs.
Okay, well,
I can work on that.
I don't need that because I need to produce a story here. Americans will receive a microchip implant in 2017. I want to see this.
NBC has recently predicted that in 2017, all of America will be tagged with microchips. They will be implanted to help identify individuals immediately. According to the report, the technology is used to answer one question: am I who I say I am? Some worry, however, that their FID microchip will give the government too much power.
You think? Yeah. I don't want a bit microchipped. How many in the room right now, press 1 if you want to be microchipped? Anyone? You want to be microchipped? They say 25% of the population is willing to be microchipped right now. Yeah. I'm going to save that in tonight's video library for tonight. Thank you. All right. Thank you. I didn't want to waste your time with that. That's very interesting. There's 294 sealed indictments that were going on during the election period. Somebody ran into this stuff and found 294 sealed indictments. Let me give you the tweet to this. I'll post it in the sites here. You want to check out sealed indictments. That's interesting. Okay, so Sarah's going to take over, and I'm going to do the second part of the show when I get back. I don't talk down to anyone. No. The fact of the matter is, this show is a lot of work, even though you say I don't work. So I'm doing everything, interacting constantly with the show. And it takes a while to really, get a handle on bringing in new networks like YouNow. So we're trying to get this thing down to a manageable amount of memory for our computer to handle. Okay, get some sleep, Carolyn. We're over it, and I updated the titling on this as well. So we've got a few things happening. We're still trying to figure out how to handle this. And somebody said maybe your cache needs to be cleared. I went in there, and guess what? Windows 10 did an update recently, and it created 27 gigabytes of old Windows 10 library, which is required to be in the computer if we want to create a restore point. So I didn't touch it. But that was the only garbage I found on my computer.
Wow.
Other than that, it's been running very clean. But yeah, 27 gigabytes of former Windows 10 installation. Isn't that ridiculous? Yeah, she's going to do the quiz. Yes, she's getting started to do the quiz. Right now, I hand over the quiz show. That's Sarah's entire thing. Okay, somebody said run disk cleaner.
Maybe, John.
As administrator? No. Hey, I'm using Windows 10. It's actually pretty good, but the recent updates seem to be slowing it down. It might be the recent update, because we found that the recent update, we have to now authenticate twice when we go into our computer.
Well, since it's Friday, Mickey, I will do medical trivia tonight.
Sarah's not angry, believe me. She's a very pleasant person. And I never colluded with Russia once in any of these events. Donald Trump is the one who's colluded with Russia, and I'm the one who's been vocally advocating an investigation. And I'm glad Robert Mueller is doing an investigation into Donald Trump. I think it's great.
I wonder, maybe I should get rid of these. Maybe I'm going to go in here. Let's go with
yeah, maybe we're getting too much of the cache, like notifications and things. Trying to simplify the cache is our best way to go.
these are blocked, but I could just add like just
Yeah, just block them all.
there we go.
That's fine. The less incoming we have, that way we can manage 3 or 4 chat rooms simultaneously.
Yeah, maybe
Cool.
that will work.
We have a lot of experience doing this. Sarah and I have been working on this for many, many years. Trump is not great. Trump has stolen over 10 of my ideas to sound great. I'm the idea man. Sarah and I worked together in a book called Hybrid Capitalism, which we're very proud of. And the real secret to saving this nation is embedded in that book, really. Getting the government to do something right without getting too big. Now, the problem with government is government, like Ronald Reagan said. The problem with government is government. But we never saw him shrink government, so we've got to come up with a way to shrink government, but make it work at the same time. That's right, Trump stole the invisible wall idea. He's now claiming there's a see-through fence, or a see-through wall. Yeah. Yeah, the reviews are going to say mean things about it, Blink. The reviews are going to be written by people that are hateful of any new ideas. Remember, Einstein said that great spirits will always encounter violent opposition from mediocre minds. That's truly where we're at. That is correct. The counter tonight is showing the real numbers. We are finally seeing the number of people that watch our show. For the years now, we've seen 130 max, when we've known that hundreds of people, if not thousands, have been watching us on the network called Vaughn. We also have millions around the world watching us on UHF, and I'm hoping that everyone begins to believe that. Charlotte air traffic controller charged with possession of weapons of mass destruction.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. I typed that in the wrong room. Scissor fight.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I haven't been to the P.O. box yet. I went yesterday, but I didn't see anything. But I'll be there on Monday. Sorry I didn't make it today. No, I never stole any ideas from anybody else on the show. So the real problem I'm having is whenever I go to the media, I can't. It's too top heavy and it shuts down XSplit. So I can't go here and add.
Well, maybe
media.
one of the issues is all the things that you have in here.
Let's try that. Let's just start deleting everything.
Like, I mean.
In fact, better yet, let's just get rid of everything. Hang on, let me do this while you stand there.
I'm just deleting when you type it. I'm going here.
Okay, you start hitting delete. I'll hit there.
Because remember, that's been an issue.
Yeah, you're right. We're troubleshooting this little problem we have. I don't mind running even a second page.
A second scene,
but
the thing is, it's not necessarily, I mean, maybe that's an issue, but it's like you just add.
I got it.
David adds, not only does he have a ton of tabs, he also has like lots of media that he can draw from in his scene.
So I'm basically eliminating the show right now.
Well,
no, I don't mind. I don't mind rebuilding the show because it adds to the creative element. I don't mind rebuilding it from scratch.
And it doesn't take you that long to do it. Well, maybe it does.
It does. There's a lot of stuff here that I've never really... But, I don't mind. If it means the operational ability of the show, that's far more important than anything else. So we'll test it out later to see if it... Hang on, that is the background. And then we'll go below here. Okay, I think we're almost there. And we'll go up here. Whoops, remove. I'm going to leave that one for the fun of it.
Oops.
I got it. I'll take it from here.
All right.
Okay, so Sarah's very helpful, and we're going to try to get that under control. Yeah, and I don't know. Is this worth? It's worth a laugh, I think. This was recently grabbed from the Scissor brought that in. We'll keep that. We'll keep the false flag alert. All right, and Sarah's going to give you the trivia show now, and hopefully everything will run better. Okay, there we go.
Okay, awesome.
Let's be clear. So many people are anti-Zionist and becoming more concerned about a growing New World Order. Thank you for coming in and participating in this show. I've never colluded with Russia, ever. That's a lie.
Well, one of the reasons is Apple has like planned out when they're going to release their different phones. And that's one of the reasons that their iPhone X lags behind the recent Samsung release, is because Samsung didn't like plan out the next 10 years of like, we're going to release this date and this date and this date. They said, let's see what the market demands.
Samsung delivered a very hot product, so hot that it burned up. In fact, that happened, and then one of the leading officers, the heir to the throne of Samsung, was put in jail last year.
Oh.
I never colluded with Russia in 2008 or any other election.
The actor who played Higgins in Magnum P.I. passed away.
Yes, he was 84.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you. You can tell I don't keep up with the news. Yeah, oh, I convinced you to give up your iPhone, Frups. What say you regarding those who say David suffers? What? I cannot shed light into the incredible brain that David is. David, statesman. I wish I could, but I cannot. I can only shed light on my own thinking at this point. Or sometimes the thinking of others, if I can analyze data that comes from them. But the thinking that comes from David is too complex to be analyzed with any, I don't know what the word is. It's the skin between, it's a certain skin area, Pirate Ripley. Like epidermis means skin. So you're gonna have to look up what that means. All right, music. I like your little emoticons over at you know. I don't think so, I glue. Actually, Frups, it's not just external. Well, you know, men, it's external, right? Because it's external. But ironically, in women, there was this really interesting study that they did. It was basically how do I say this, like on a show? How do I say this out loud? But basically, well, they did this MRI. Yes, that's the best way to say it. They did the MRI, and it's not one spot like you think. It's actually a ring, a complete ring. And that's why every woman used to say it was different, because it's a complete ring. It's like a ring of fire, yes. And one area is exposed, but everything else is a full ring, which makes total sense, right? Or maybe just inside of there, yes. Oh, shall I go off now, Astrowind, and restart? What did David do today? I don't even know which one did he choose? Oh, it's your choice. He forgot the underscore. Okay. Well, yes, I'll tell him to put in an underscore. Usually you can just click on one, right? It is a very powerful force. It's true. You can see my face, and that's about it. But I thought it was pretty interesting that it was a ring. I like, you know, I found that an interesting factoid, so I think it is important to share all that with you. It makes sense. Well, it's a circular. Just think about that and it'll make sense. I don't know. Usually not. I mean, there's definitely an area for men, but I don't know. See, Jack, I just think that's really not right. Okay, I'll tell David about the underscore ask questions. You've got a good husband there, 486. You mean in real life. Obviously, you've seen something online, 396. All right, medicine. Aww, that's so sweet. All right. Medical trivia tonight. My 100 likes would have been useful in another hashtag. Shall I stop and then go back on with a different hashtag? Would that be good? But you already invited your friends, fans, so I'll just keep going. So I should just stick with a good hashtag. It bumps me up the list. So now am I #1 in a hashtag that nobody looks at? Is that how it's working? What is inflammation of like basically a little thing underneath your skin? I'm the only one in this hashtag, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do what I did yesterday. Oh, that makes total sense that I did that. I'm going to do what I did yesterday, which I might have, since I closed out, I might have stopped casting anyway. And this, and then let me go to broadcast again, but then I'll go to the ask questions. Why? I'm just going to go for the when. No, I'll go for ask questions. Oops. All right. Anyway, I'm not gonna share on Snapchat and Instagram. And there's just me here. All right, we'll just do it that way. I'm number 14 on Ask Questions. All right, that's good. So then I can see if I can slowly beat people out. Of 13 on Ask Questions. I'm moving up I'm number 2 on Ask Questions. All right, that makes sense. Okay, so welcome to our Ask Questions category tonight. Hi, Pillow Plush. So David didn't include the hashtag Ask Questions, and he just had Ask Questions without the underscore. So anyway, I fixed it. We're starting another broadcast, and tonight I'm going to do medical trivia. And so the first question is for you. What is inflammation in usually in certain joints of the shoulder, the knee, the elbow, and it happens in a certain place, which is like just under the skin, starting with the letter B. Arthritis would be correct, but it starts with the letter B. What did you, instead of scroll up, you already answered it, just answer it again. Lung melons is right. Well, kind of. Yes, you guys are right. It's bursitis. The person who spelled it correctly is 606. Actually, time for ATP spelled it correctly. Bursitis. It's under this like bursa area, which is kind of under the skin. So I had bursitis in my heel one time. Sometimes it acts up sometimes. And I went to a doctor, and they said basically it's kind of like if you feel like the skin, if you feel the like the skin of a grape, if you're rubbing that and like how it peels up, and like that's kind of how it feels when you have bursitis, because it's inflamed. And they said the only real thing with bursitis that they can do is they can give you a steroid injection. But he said he didn't recommend that for the heel of the foot, because that one could cause the fat tissues that surround the area to lower the fat cells, and then you don't have the padding, which just makes the bursitis worse. So anyway, yes, David could massage my heels while he watches YouTube. David does gives me rubs, and then sometimes David complains because all my muscles are all tight from working all the time. And so when he rubs my legs to work out the kinks in my legs, he says I don't say, oh, that feels good. I'm thinking that feels good, but I'm just so tight that I can't even feel it. I don't know if that makes any sense. And my mind is going on other things. I probably do have low vitamin D levels. You're right. I need to take vitamin D, not 950. Actually, in the Pacific Northwest, they say a lot of people have low vitamin D, and I was seeing a physician's assistant a couple of years ago who was doing research into vitamin D and what was it? I want to say there was one thing that she was noticing up here a lot. Not muscular dystrophy, MS. They were saying that there's a lot of people that have MS up in the Pacific Northwest, and she was doing research that there's a vitamin D deficiency kind of going with MS up in the Pacific Northwest. I probably need to take folic acid too. You guys are right about the vitamin D and the folic acid. True. All right. And you should definitely have folic acid if you want that other vitamin that 812 is referring to, because if you get pregnant, you need to have folic acid in your system. So even if it's an accidental pregnancy, you need to make sure you're on folic acid, women. All right. What is an eating disorder that's characterized by episodic binge eating followed by feelings of guilt or depression? Yes, there are calcium pills with vitamin D, and I do take calcium, but I need to take more calcium and more vitamin D. And you're right, it is bulimia. Sometimes it has self-induced vomiting. I just find that so gross. I can't stand vomiting when I'm sick, so I would never be bulimic. It's spelled B-U-L-I-M-I-A. I'd rather like just stop eating than be bulimic. But I'm not anorexic either. You're right, 950. I don't need more calcium. I just need folate and a B complex. That's a good point. Maybe I should invest in those reds that have B complex. All right, what is a highly contagious disease that's usually fatal? It affects the lymphatic system. It's caused by bacteria transmitted to humans by rat-borne fleas. And from 1347 to 1351, a similar disease entered Europe. So yes, the Black Plague entered Europe, but it's a bubonic plague. Correct. Good job. Entered Europe from Asia, killed a large percentage of the population, sometimes wiping out entire towns. And it caused widespread social changes in Europe. You're so funny, 404. If we could only spell correctly. What things should you eat for an upset stomach? Well, I'm not a doctor, but when I have an upset stomach, I usually eat crackers and like 7-Up. And ginger. Yes, ginger ale. That's what it is. Ginger ale. If you can't get ginger ale, 7-Up has some lemon, lime, ginger a little bit. So that's pretty good. And then I love, whenever I have an upset stomach or sore throat, I get these, they're candied ginger from Trader Joe's, but they're non-crystallized. And I suck on that. Oh, that's so good. I actually eat that. Sometimes I eat it when I'm feeling healthy, but yeah, ginger is really amazing stuff. All right, here's a new clue. What is the system of tube-like structures that connects the trachea to the lungs? Yeah, ginger root is healthy. You can chop up ginger and put it in all kinds of things. Correct, Jack the Gripper has it. It is the bronchial tubes. Yes, indeed, bronchial tubes. All right, here is a new clue. Oh, and I'll be reading you a lot. What is the part of your brain? What is the part of your body that's has thoughts? It is the brain. Yes, indeed, the brain is a central organ in the nervous system protected by the skull. It consists of the medulla, which sends signals from the spinal cord to the rest of the brain, and also controls the autonomic nervous system. The pons is a mass of nerve fibers connected to the medulla. The cerebellum controls balance and coordination. The cerebrum, the outer layer of which the cerebral cortex, is the location of memory, sight, speech, and other high functions. The cerebrum contains two hemispheres, the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere, each of which controls different functions. In general, the right hemisphere controls the left side of the body and such functions as spatial perception, whereas the left hemisphere controls the right side of the body and functions such as speech. Under the cerebral cortex are the thalamus, the main relay center between the medulla and the cerebrum, and the hypothalamus, which controls blood pressure, body temperature, hunger, thirst, sex drive, and other visceral functions. You know what is kind of interesting about the brain? There was this girl where they did a surgery on her because she was having she was having seizures. Hi, Edgar. And so they actually removed half of her brain because it was very serious, her seizures. And they thought she would never walk again. And hi, Edgar. They and not only did she walk again, but she like started having she was running and almost back to normal with just half her brain. So really, the brain has the ability to make amazing connections. Hi, Burp. New viewer record for ATP. Glad that we're growing, Burp. Yes, it has the ability to adapt. It's really amazing. Phineas Gage had a spike through his brain that they researched according to 495, and 801. 3950 said there is a part of the brain that figures out reality from facts, and 801 said that you heard someone with just a brainstem had normal intellect. Wow. And 495 says Phineas Gage had a spike through their brain, which they researched. Yes, the brain is amazing. It's called neural plasticity. And speaking of brains, they've done some research lately, which I really find amazing, about the brain and how basically it comes down to, it was the brain and learning, but it's the brain and mistakes. And neural plasticity is like basically the ability for your brain to adapt and create connections, more and more connections. Even if you think you've lost part of your brain, it's able to grow, and it's pretty amazing. All right, so the research on the brain was that they found out that there's certain brain waves emitted when people make mistakes, and then there's other ones that are emitted when they like try to figure out the mistakes and actually learn from their mistakes. But just making a mistake grows your brain, which is really good. And it's like, because it's the struggle of when you're confronted with like, I did something wrong, or trying to figure out a puzzle, that's when your brain is open to the most amount of learning, which is really good. We do make tons of mistakes, but we grow our brain. I do believe global warming is happening. However, I want to make sure that, so yes, so I believe global warming is happening. But is that necessarily a bad thing? That's a good question, because we're supposed to be heading into this global ice age, and if it weren't for global warming, we'd actually all be frozen popsicles right now. So maybe it's not such a bad thing that global warming's happening. But there is, I also want to say that they talk about so one of the issues with the global warming is there's a hole above the Arctic or Antarctica in the ozone layer. But the thing is, I want to know, do they know if that hole was actually there before they started measuring it? Because they're like, oh my goodness, there's a hole there. And then the other thing is that they say that last year they started saying, oh, the hole is shrinking. The hole is smaller than it has been previously recorded. Like, that means that we're doing better for the climate. That's what they said. However, when you look closer at the data, they said, well, we always measure the ozone layer hole in October, and this year we measured it in September. But then when we measured it again in October, it was actually larger than it had been over previous Octobers. So you have to have consistent data based on the time of year. If you're going to measure on October 10th, You need to measure every year on October 10th, and don't say, oh, look at what we measured on June 10th compared, and say it's similar to what you're measuring on October 10th. That's totally different things. All right. Your life has been a bunch of mistakes. I bet you've grown a whole lot, Astra Wind. Moving on, here's the next clue. What is a severe form of food poisoning? It's often fatal if it's not treated quickly. It's caused by a kind of bacterium that produces a toxin and is sometimes present in improperly canned or preserved food. A glue is right. Botulism. It's my frozen popsicle hypothesis that we'd all be frozen popsicles if it weren't for global warming. But I am a big environmentalist, and I believe in recycling and all that stuff. I think oil is part of the environment, and I think that we have all this amazing technology and electricity because of oil. Delvin, I'm not going to say happy birthday to that person. I'm going to say I hope his birthday is a D-Day. All right, what are the flexible tubular canals through which blood circulates in the body? Veins are part of them, yes. Capillaries are part of the system. Vessels is correct. And Burp and Pirate Ripley have it right. Which include arteries, veins, and capillaries. Pirate Ripley. Arteries. Hi, Glenn. Nice to see you. Welcome to our show. Nice to see you again. So isn't it like 10 days till your baby is due? So exciting. What is a surgical instrument that uses fiber optics to allow physicians to see and perform surgery inside joints? The surgery involves only the insertion of a small tube into the joint. Starts with the letter A. Oh, I went to the wrong one. So you need to know that bones or joints have a word in medicine that starts with the letter A. Like if your joints ache, they call it a pain, and it's a certain kind of pain when your joints ache. What is that called when your joints ache when you're old and you're like, I have... The other one, osteo, is your bones. Arthro is your joints, correct? 396, and it's an arthroscopic surgery is when they do surgery on your joints by only putting in the insertion tube into the joint. Arthroscopic surgery allows rapid recovery, and one often sees it mentioned with regard to injuries of athletes. I think David is back.
I made a couple of potatoes. They're cooking in the microwave, and there's some gravy next to it, and some whatever you want.
Oh,
You don't need to eat
have that. Yeah.
Well, you don't need to eat potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really needs to eat potatoes, except the Irish who survived the potato famine.
I think potatoes have a lot of lectins in them, right?
They have they're they're actually nightshade, which could cause inflammation in your joints or something.
Yes. So speaking of, I did medical trivia tonight.
Oh, how nice!
A couple of nights ago, I watched this. It was kind of like an infomercial, but it was a long infomercial.
Yeah.
It was like by this doctor who basically started his own thing.
Yeah.
And he basically said, but I'm going to give you all this information before he even started talking about his product. He talked for like 30 minutes about different things.
Yeah.
And basically it boils down to there's 3 things you should not ever eat, he says. He says don't ever eat soy, wheatgrass or goji berries.
Really?
And he was a heart
Wow.
He was a heart surgeon, and he worked at Loma Linda University. Anyway,
big university, very popular.
Yes, and people would come to him with like the cases like nobody your hopeless cases basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had this guy come to him, and he was like this heavy set guy, and he's like, "Well, I'll only do the surgery on you if you lose a certain amount of weight." The guy lost weight, and he's like, "How do you lose so much weight?" And
how did he lose so much weight?
So he's like, I just went to the health store and I bought tons of like
soybeans and goji berries and wheatgrass.
No.
Oh.
He bought all these like supplements, and then also he was eating tons of exotic fruits. And
before he gained weight, or before he lost
this
weight?
is to lose the weight.
To lose the weight, he ate exotic fruits. Okay.
And so basically, then the guys did all this research later. And basically it boils down to those three things. He says, well, with the goji berries, and then the fourth thing he said so then there's two other things. Avoid lectins, any food with lectins. And then the final thing is eat lots of
So avoid lectins, phytophenols. I haven't learned anything yet. I haven't figured anything yet. What do you mean? How do the goji berries and the other soy products
goji berries, play? He said with goji berries, basically you don't eat those because they can, and I researched goji berries, they interact with, they can cause blood clots, basically.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because, well, it doesn't say exactly that, but like they interact with warfarin, which is a blood thinner. So I'm assuming if they interact with a blood thinner, it's because
the goji berries can create blood clots.
Yeah. So don't eat, well, especially if you're on warfarin, definitely don't.
Well, yeah, if you're on a blood thinner, of course not. But I mean, you can't even take kale if you're on a blood thinner, right? Kale is a potential problem.
Yes. And then the other thing he said is wheatgrass is like, you think of a cat, like cats and dogs, they eat wheatgrass, but the reason they eat wheatgrass is so that they can get a hairball out.
Oh, so it causes the body to
it causes you to your body reacts with it.
Really?
Like, yeah, it can cause like more diarrhea and nausea, and then the same thing with lectins. Lectins can cause even a leaky gut syndrome.
Okay.
So what lectins are is basically how the plant protects itself from things, and it definitely are around seeds. So the lectins are around two things. They're like a little shell around seeds, and they're also around the stem.
And what are lectins common in our food products?
Kidney beans
have lectins?
Yeah,
okay.
Kidney beans.
Avoid kidney beans.
Not only kidney beans, but there's also, actually the lectins are in the ones, ironically, lectins are in the food that most people are, the people that are allergic to foods. Right. Those are all heavy lectin foods. Dairy, eggs, peanuts, I already said dairy,
eggs, peanuts have lectins.
Okay. Tree nuts, and then they're also in potatoes and tomatoes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So potatoes have lectins in them too, huh?
Yeah, but yes,
and you're saying it's bad for your body because it has a toxin level or something, or?
Well, because it interacts with like the lining of your stomach lining and stuff, and it can cause it causes a breakdown because our bodies do not process lectins. Okay. They just send them through, but when they try to process them, it messes with your internal system. Okay, so those are all the things to not do. But what to do is, he says what you should do is this thing called phytophenols. Phytophenols are in dark colored fruits and vegetables.
Like blueberries.
Cranberries. Like Aconia cherries.
Yeah, cherries are great for you. Cherries prevent gout. And
that's why I bought those dark grapes today.
Okay.
Black grapes, because it's the darker fruit that have the most things. And he said think about it, and they're also in leafy vegetables as well, spinach and things like that. But as far as like the wheatgrass, yeah, it's really interesting if you.
So I was living on kidney beans and wheatgrass when I was young, and I kind of felt really weak or something. It was weird.
Yeah, and he said that with wheatgrass, it like totally makes you just have diarrhea and vomiting, and it's
I
like
didn't
totally.
do that, but
I mean, not really, but it's like it's just not good for your gut.
okay, good to know. Good to know. Thanks for all this great
And he
advice.
said with
Yeah.
soy, I mean, this guy was pretty interesting. It was knowledgeable. And
Kidney
at
beans
the
are
end-
dangerous. Wow, I was living on kidney
And
beans
he
for a
said,
while there.
like when I was and then I did some research on it, and they said the thing with lectins is they are really bad for you, and like they come from the seed is trying to protect itself. So
Right.
in many plants, they have a lot of lectins because it's seeds that are trying to protect
Oh,
themselves.
so they're
grow.
they're hurting whatever's around them, so they hurt your body too, right? Yeah.
And then so it's in the seed and in the little piece that comes out, the sprouting part. And he said, actually, there's this thing called and he didn't say this. I was researching lectins.
Yeah.
There's this thing called kidney bean,
Itis.
it
Kidney beanitis.
can kill people.
Ooh, this is scary.
Seriously, like
Kidney beans could be weaponized.
it's like, yes, kidney bean.
Dangerous
like,
kidney beans.
He
Yeah.
says, you wonder why you never see they have sprouted mung beans and stuff like that, but you never see sprouted kidney beans.
I never do
because
see
they're
sprouted kidney beans.
poisonous.
Yeah, they're poisonous. So I'm pretty sure kidney beans are dangerous at this point. Yeah, I'm going to avoid them.
It's not called kidney beanitis, but it's a poison, and it can actually.
There's undercooked kidney beans that could kill you. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let me just deal with this now. I've got a supply of kidney beans in my food storage bag for Y3K.
So what you're going to have to do with those is you don't sprout
grind them up or
you
something?
actually, so they say in order to fight the lectins, you ferment and cook.
Ferment and cook, and then
Like-
take the meat out of them.
Well,
And then leave the outer barrier.
Sprout, ferment, and cook. But sprouting isn't necessarily for kidney beans, but sprouting like other seeds, like because wheat also has these lectins in it.
Yeah,
And so
and soy too. Soy is
and
probably
soy,
loaded with
don't
lectins.
don't do soy at all.
Don't do soy at all. And
because soy has
Wow.
the estrogens in it,
it is fascinating.
which I mean, this guy was really interesting.
They have
in-
esters in soy that turn men into gay men. So listen, GMO soy is definitely off the list. I don't even want to do non-GMO soy now that, after hearing the ester
After
factor.
hearing this, that's
Yeah.
why I was said today I was looking at things and I was like, looking, I'm like, does this have soy in it? And
I'm
then
shocked.
I was like, I have been eating some goji berries, but I'm in low amounts. But I've been eating these cranberries, and I was like, I've been eating like a handful of cranberries every day.
I know.
And I'm like, I'm gonna.
You're
keep
enjoying
eating
that,
those.
yeah, because they're dark and they're like blueberries. And,
Yes.
yeah, so they're good for you.
Exactly.
And I understand they're good for your kidneys too.
Yeah.
Cranberries.
And then
That's
of
what I've
course
heard.
at the end, the guy tried selling his formula, but
Oh, well, yeah. Well, of course he's trying to profit from all of his great knowledge, but there's another guy online that
like
talks
drugs.
about eating things, and he talks about how to fight tooth cavities and preventing a root canal by eating the right food. Now, he's really wacky, and he's on the internet. He's got this theory that our body, the blood feeds into our teeth from inside, right? That's how we created our teeth originally. Well, he believes that if you increase the number of really good quality foods like fine cheeses that have been properly aged, it adds some microbial level in your stomach, which thoroughly nourishes you in a whole way, in a whole food way. And he says that somehow you're able to overtake your toothache. Now, I don't recommend it because I would rather get a root canal and get it done with. But
then
most people have
somebody's-
their teeth knocked out, right? Instead of getting. But this guy really believes that it's the quality of your food that actually helps your teeth do well. And in a theory, he has a very interesting point because
I
the
agree
blood
with
is
you,
feeding
but
into your tooth. It
we
is.
should floss daily. That's
should
really
floss
true.
daily.
Hi, Robbie Sharp. And so, yeah, anyway, it was really interesting. And then at the end, the thing he's selling is like all these juices,
Yeah.
like all these exotic fruits like pomegranates. That's why I wanted to get the pomegranates.
Mhm.
As he takes all these exotic fruits and then puts it into like this powder, and he also put in like full B complex,
Yeah.
in the powder.
Yeah.
And that's what he's selling. So you just, like, drink it as a
like
juice.
yeah. Well, you know, pomegranate's been known to be replicated by other juices. People they pretend it's pomegranate, and I understand there's a lot of fake pomegranate juice out there.
I don't know the
on
name of
market.
the guy. I don't know his
That's
name,
interesting,
but
yeah.
it was a really interesting thing. Dr. something Reds.
Dr. Quaalude.
He was selling his red mix.
We're not talking about Alex Jones. In fact, very, very rarely do we ever bring up Alex Jones on the show. It's only you people, you whack jobs, that are continually pushing for Alex.
Dr. Quaalude is a wonderful guy. He's very relaxing.
I think David thinks he's talking to Dr. Quaalude when he talks to me.
Well, you slow me down a little because I have to, you know, really focus on ideas that are methodical in nature, and these are the ideas that really are the building blocks of a good diet foundation. You know, what do you want to eat on a daily basis? And I've been leaning away from carbohydrates over the years because I knew that, you know, carbs can really get to me. But when I do eat carbs, I eat non-GMO bread, something that's not genetically modified, because it makes it a lot better to digest. I've noticed some great success there. When I eat GMO food like pizza, everything slows down and gets all, literally, my body takes a couple extra days to digest things. Everything slows down when on GMOs. And I've noticed this time and time again.
Yeah.
But good bread is better than bad bread. But if you continually focus on good quality food, I think, and avoid soy-based. See, they're trying to put us all into soy-based products like meat replacements made out of soy. Everything's going in that direction because the agribusiness out there wants to make soy. They don't want to make livestock. They don't want to make cows and cattle. They don't want to make pigs. They don't want to make pork. They would rather make all of us eat soy burgers. And ironically, what Sarah's telling us is going against the very grain of the New World Order. Ironically, they want us to turn into soy zombies.
Yep. So I'm going to start avoiding those things: soy, wheatgrass, and goji berries. And I'm going to try to start eating more of those phytophenols,
Right.
which are basically in like fruits and some
Phytothenol, yeah, whatever that is, like dark colored.
They're all in
fruits.
basically fruits and vegetables.
Okay, have some more of that carrot juice.
Well, I was going to go eat some of my grapes and the carrot juice.
Have some carrot, but leave me a little bit of carrot juice left because I really
I'll
love
just
it.
leave you the carrot juice.
No, have some carrot juice because we really should eat it up because it was on its way out when it was marked down from $5 a quart to $1.99, $1.49. I think we bought it.
Okay, I'll have a little bit.
Yeah,
of
so
those.
you got to eat that right now. Carrots are good for you. That's not an old wives' tale that carrots help your eyes. They really do. The vitamin A. Thank you, Sarah. You're awesome. Thanks for giving me a great break. And just leave my potatoes in the microwave, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Don't worry,
Yeah, those potatoes. Now, you didn't tell me what was wrong with potatoes exactly, other
It's
than
about, actually, that goes with the nightshade thing, which I don't.
the nightshade.
Which is like
That's the theory.
basically with inflammation.
Well, I'm doing tomatoes because it prevents prostate cancer in men. So I love those tomatoes we picked up. I'm having half of the tomato, though. Seriously, you need it too.
Except they say tomatoes have lectins in them too.
Oh.
Because of
Well,
all
then don't do tomatoes. Let me do all the bad stuff, and I'll eat all the horrible food like potatoes and tomatoes, and you focus on... I know a woman who has potatoes every morning,
I know.
and she's doing okay. She's overweight, but she looks like she's got strength, I'm telling you. She's got stamina. You know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
She eats potatoes every day. In the morning, she makes a big potato fry breakfast. Her boyfriend or husband. What?
I'm not a potato person.
You don't. I'm not pushing potatoes on you. Believe me, I'm not a. Nor am I a potato addict. She's a little hefty, but man, she's got energy. I mean, for a woman in her 70s, she still works. She's amazing. Ireland survived on potatoes. The potato famine, what was it, 107? 1907. Let me see. The potato famine of Ireland was in the year 1840, began in 1845, when a fungus among us attacked the potato. That's when it started, the Irish potato famine. Wow. It ended in 1852. Wow, it was not 1907. That was a long famine. 7 years of nonstop suffering because of a fungus-like organism that spread rapidly throughout Ireland. It ruined up to 1/2 of the potato crop that year, and over 3/4 of the crop over the next 7 years. It was a very important, reliable. What I like about the potato is it grows out here, whereas it doesn't grow I mean, we don't get much to grow in this area. So potatoes grow fairly easily out here. If you're creating a survival crop and you're in your balcony of your apartment, you probably could just put a big, huge garbage can outside your balcony, fill it with some soil, put some fertilizer in there, and put potato tubers in there. Like anything that's sprouting, cut them up and let that thing grow out. You'll have an entire 25, 30 potatoes in there by the end of the summer. So you could actually take about 5 potatoes and turn them into 25 rather quickly. That's if you're in an apartment and want to grow something on your balcony. Who's your daddy? You're not anybody's daddy, man. Are you? Are you a father? Okay, somebody has bursitis, bulimia, bubonic brain, laparoscopy. You're coming up with some pretty good words there. Time for ATP. Laparoscopy, that's a lot. Laparoscopic surgery is very common now. They call it keyhole surgery, and they do it from various sides. They could do coronary surgery through keyholes now, which is interesting. I put Amber's fecal matter in the ferns near our house, and it grows very well. And ironically, there's no smell either. The ferns kind of digest the cat poop. Do you not get fed of not being able to just eat food? I eat food normally, yeah. Yeah, feces are great for plants, and I even take her cat. We have, I don't know why we're talking about this, but we use wood pellets for the cat litter as opposed to cat litter, which is expensive. Wood pellets work better because they eliminate the cat urine smell completely. And you do cayenne pepper and turmeric must be great, and ginger. Oh yeah, on your salads, that's good. Well, I would not recommend growing your own food from your own manure. Human manure is something that has to go through a lot of stages before you get to the food stage. If you're running out there crapping on your garden and then harvesting from it, you could get serious diseases like Hep A. That's what people are doing in San Diego in tents. They're eating their own feces inadvertently. Yeah. Horrible conditions that people are in, the homeless people in LA, San Diego, San Francisco, New York, Detroit, Cincinnati, Portland, Seattle, Miami. I mean, there's so many homeless everywhere, it's ridiculous. And our governments are not even doing anything about the problem. We want to get mobile service units out there for people that want to get some serious help in need. Obviously, not everyone could imagine something that would have a washer dryer attached to it and be able to service people who are in need. Let me take a mobile medical unit from Minnesota here and just pretend like it's a mobile service unit. Hugh Manure, that's good. Better than Hugh Hefner. Hey, Hugh. All right, so the MSUs, I call them, will be circulating around the country. In every city we'll have these things, and they can hook up to the actual water and electricity in the area, or they can rotate. They'll also have their onboard biofuel generators running on hempelene, as well as solar-powered panels that would charge up batteries. These things can actually have a hot water system on board with bathrooms, showers, and of course washers and dryers. The back side of the mobile service unit will have mailboxes, 500 of them for anybody who wants a mailbox. Let's discuss medical procedure of poop insertion, microbiota transplant. Well, that's if you're a fecal donor, guest 404. Are you a fecal donor? Are you a person who makes money on your feces? No, these units will be operated by security guards. These won't be mobile molesting units. We're back to this again. I can't play these links.
Or the next generation.
I'm older than Liam Gallagher? Really? It's kind of strange. I seem younger for some reason. Interesting. I had no idea. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, what's going on, man? I'm just in England and just working things out, man. He sends me a lot of English links here. Well, I don't know. The ghetto population will be available. Look, when you get to the point where you're in a tent, you don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, or alien from Mars. I mean, you're trying to get by. And I lived among homeless people when I had a van down by the beach in Venice. And I got to know a lot of homeless people. And I can tell you that they're not going to leave the tent city and go get a job without a place to shower, without a place to go to the bathroom. I mean, and they're not going to be able to walk around if they got Hep A. I mean, let's face it. It took guest 529 5 years to get in here. Holy crap, are you serious? Oh my goodness. 529 just spent the past 5 years trying to get in this room. And we don't even have the common courtesy to give them a... No, we lost it. Well, you all ruined it by... Wow, 5 years is harsh, yeah. Upstate saying LOL. Took you 10 years, really? Wow. Well, thank you for loving me. I feel the love around the world, I do. And even though Sarah doesn't believe we have multiple millions of viewers, hundreds of millions of viewers, I know we do. And it's pretty heavy. It's a heavy load, man. There's a lot of weight on my shoulders, but I'm dealing with it because, frankly, I had to get a lot of monkeys off my back early on in my life. I was suffering from a lot of burdens of responsibility, and I worked through a lot of problems using simple logic, and I think I can solve America's problems using simple logic. We will make sure people are hired to pick up the dirty syringes. There'll be a security guard around the mobile service unit that can do just that. That'll be part of his detail, is cleaning up crap. Chat will always increase. My numbers of viewers at Vaughn is a small pittance. People are trying to get in here and are still being censored. The numbers around the world are astronomical. Thank you. Donald Trump has been trying to censor me so badly, and Mark has been complicit in this. They can't control it. It's the word of mouth campaign is growing so rapidly around the world that it has literally led to a crescendo, a critical mass, in which we might just actually get 1 second of mainstream media attention in the next year. It's possible. I'm hoping for more than 1 second, because all I can do in 1 second is come up with a very simple campaign of help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. Help. Yeah. Help! We all need some serious help right now. I think America is without leadership. We've got a guy who likes to just pretend to be president and make twitters all the time. He's not telling the police department, stop the brutality. Frankly, I support the NFL's players' rights to kneel down during a national anthem. I don't think it's wrong to believe in free speech when looking to our nation and looking at our national anthem. If they want to kneel down, let them. Whatever they want to do, as long as it's not indecent. You know, pull your thing out and start touching yourself while during the national anthem. That would not be a nice statement. But the bottom line is, if people are talking about brutality and raising the bar of awareness, I want to talk about brutality. Whether you're submitting or not submitting, or whether you want to stop brutality or not, the bottom line is the message is out that we do need to deal with brutality in our government. And Obama didn't tell anybody in police they had to change it. He had an opportunity when he put together the national policing reform policies of Obama's presidency. He actually put together an entire plan for policing, but none of it included being nicer, None of it included stop killing people who are innocent, who are unarmed. None of it included a shoot to maim policy. And Trump just told police officers to be more brutal. And they're harassing people. People are camping out in corners. Hang on.
I mean, we have a presidential candidate who's deleted emails and done things illegally and is a presidential candidate. That doesn't make sense to me, because if that was any other person, you'd be in prison. So what is this country really standing for?
Well, it's standing for police brutality. That's what it's standing for, Mr. Copernic. Colin Copernic doesn't know what police brutality is all about. The right of cops to beat up people without regard for human rights whatsoever. Check this out. 2 cops shown beating a man. Okay, you heard enough? I heard enough. I don't want to hear any more. That's crazy. You remember that one in San Francisco, yeah. Ground control to Major Tom. We lost video. I don't know what he did. It doesn't even matter. What cop has the right to beat somebody like that? It's irrelevant what he did. This is what bothers me. People think, well, we got law and order. No, we got a bunch of brutal, brain-dead police officers that don't understand that you keep killing people at this rate, and things are not going to work out for police officers either. Last year, that was not a comedy skit. Last year, 118 cops died. 1,203 people died. Half of them were unarmed. The other half were either disabled or carrying a pocket knife and going, please don't hurt me. And then boom, dead. Whole chest. They aim for the chest too. They aim for your heart. They should be, if somebody's not even armed, just aim for their leg, for crying out loud. So what is this shoot to kill policy, and how come our government hasn't reversed it? It is horrible. And the fact that homeless people don't have mobile service units is horrible. Thank you for letting me get on my pulpit tonight and talk about helping the homeless, because I know a lot of people don't talk about it anymore. 4 million people now are homeless. No, that was a real cut from a real event. I know you don't have a problem with police in Canada. That's what I like about Canada. And then you get this kind of routine where they just walk right up to your window and you pulled over, doing nothing wrong. You're just sitting in a parking lot and you get this.
Watch this.
Where are you guys going from here?
What was the problem? Why did you pull me over?
Why did I pull you
Yeah.
over? Because we have a lot of problem with fraud rental cars in here. I see you guys all split when I come into the lot, the way you guys were parked, so I just want to make sure that
Is this one
legit
fraud?
run. No.
Oh, okay.
No, you're fine.
Okay. So I'm free to go, right?
Yeah, you're free to go.
Okay, thank you.
All right, where
Appreciate
you guys heading?
I'm being detained or I'm free to go?
No, I'm asking you a question, but you can be pulled out of the car and I can search it if you really want.
How is that?
Yeah, any way I want. Doesn't mean I can use what I find, but I can do it. So you want to do that? You want to play that game, little hard ass, or you want to go back to Rick?
All I'm saying is...
Just don't talk shit.
I'm
alright?
not talking
You guys
shit.
are all over there, a bunch of tatted up gangsters and everything, hanging out.
I'm not a gangster.
Yeah, but you're all tatted up. You're sitting there.
My son's thing? My son's thing?
You can't even park the damn car right. You're over there. She's all tatted and everything else. You're not even from around here, all right?
I was taking a picture. How am I talking shit to you, officer?
You're talking shit. Am I being detained or what? I told you could go, right? So go.
All right.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right.
That could be anyone in the USA, yeah. Welcome to the police state. Welcome to totalitarianism. There's no fun experience when you get pulled over by a cop and you're harassed. And I'm wondering, since no one's committing any crimes going over the speed limit, no harm done, why do we have a bunch of traffic cops sucking off your tax dollars running around meeting their quotas every day. And believe me, they've got quotas. Why? Because they want it. They want to be part of a bigger plan, global world order. It's all about surrendering your power, giving up your individual freedom, and becoming sucked into the Borg, and resistance is futile. So the more they push us, the more they edge us, the more they take over our rights, the more cameras we have at every intersection. Gradually, the human being will be a little munchkin wondering if it's okay to go outside at night or in the day. And will have to be RFID chipped, or they'll be sent to the FEMA camps. I mean, we are basically creating a world that will enslave humanity. And nobody's doing anything to stop it. You know, I don't kneel during the national anthem because it's a different feeling for me. But I can understand why people are upset about the brutality in our government and in our police force. It's just not right. We need some serious... You hear that sucking sound? It's not Harvey Weinstein having sex with a vacuum. It's your dollars leaving your pocket. I don't talk about my body part, but thank you for asking. It is intact and it is fully functional. Harmless radioactive cloud drifts over Europe following a mysterious nuclear accident. And why are we reading about this in the alternative news? Because we don't have any real news anymore. The mainstream media is just whatever the CIA tells them to tell us. From The Guardian, French Institute says pollution suggests release of nuclear material in Russia or Kazakhstan in September. Wow. And how come Meow TV didn't tell us about this? You're supposed to be in on this, Meow. Yeah. Russian authorities have said they are not aware of an accident on their territory. Well, with all the other radiation in the world, Fukushima and God knows what else, I mean, we got leaks up the yin-yang in America. Let's not cast aspersions on poor Russia. I mean, really. Mark censors the channel because the people who are powerful elitists don't want me to succeed. And Mark is the low-level person that thinks $50 million is a good amount of money to censor me. Look, so many people would take money to censor me. I'm not angry at Mark. I think it's pathetic, really, that he has no scruples. That's what's pathetic. Well, if it's traced to Kazakhstan and Russia is not aware of it, then I'd be concerned if I were Vladimir Putin. Yeah, they say he made $50 million doing this. Oh, I don't care if he can't stand me. It doesn't matter. I feel empathy for all people, even people that are going to go to prison over their actions. I feel sorry for him. I really do. He doesn't even understand the laws he's breaking. It's just so sad. In his defense, I mean, he'll probably just say, well, I was just really greedy and the Russians offered me lots of money. I didn't know Dad was being censored. New York Times accuses woman of pretending to be a reporter. This is happening more and more with people going on the internet pretending to be reporters, you know. The gray lady is seeing red over a colorful Manhattan woman who masqueraded as a New York Times reporter, saying she's sullying its reputation as a newspaper of record. Contessa Bourbon's been keeping up the charade for 4 years, according to the Times' new lawsuit against her. She first introduced herself as a Times reporter at a Brookings Institute event in 2013. She also claimed to work for the paper in an interview with the Turkish ambassador, and then at a speech in March by the Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. But Ms. Bourbon is not and has never been employed by the Times as a reporter for the New York Times or any other position or capacity. She's ignored 2 cease and desist letters. I want to know what she looks like. I mean, who is this Contessa Bourbon? Let's look. Let's see if we can find her on the internet. I'm going to search her on my internet. Yes, she is. She claims to be a reporter. So if you see her in some capacity, she's wearing like a big turtleneck. What is she wearing, a neck brace or something? There she is. Contessa. Okay, if we see you around, we'll know that you're not a real Times reporter. Contessa Bourbon. That sounds like a fake name. Well, no, the numbers are starting to come out. Mark's probably realized he can't hold the numbers back. Thank you for asking for respect. Yeah, I don't really want to do kidney beans at all now. I mean, I'm a little concerned. I'm having a pretty good night. Add the one. Thank you. Well, she's got to do something. She's hurt. You know, she could always be Contessa Bourbon, crisis actress. She could work in like the, you know, like the lady who did the wonderful acting, pretending that her son died at the Pulse nightclub, pretending like that was a real event. Oh, that was great. She was actually pretty good. I mean, you think about how many people believed her. The Barefoot Contessa. Roy Moore's accusers, a 3 times divorcee who claims several pastors made sexual advances at her. I think Roy Moore is going to stay in the race. He said he's okay with the whole thing. Yeah, he's going to just stick it out, see if the voters still like him. Yeah. Yeah, this is a long time ago. We haven't seen her in years, it seems. Here she is, Christine Lenoinen.
Hi, I'd like to be on Wheel of Fortune. I think I'd be a great contestant because I'm a lot of fun and other people would enjoy watching me win or solve or try to solve all the puzzles. I live in Central Florida. I have 2 kittens called Mickey and Minnie, but they're cats. This is the 3rd time I tried to get on Wheel of Fortune. Once I was in Detroit with my son, and he was in a little baby stroller, and I guess I wasn't quick enough at writing all of the puzzles down, but I've gotten a lot quicker and I understand the game more, and it's my favorite game to watch. I DVR it every single night. So
it takes about 5 minutes for a church bell to ring 49 times. I know this because last month, my son Christopher, his boyfriend Juan, and 47 others were murdered at a club in Orlando.
Okay, so people, once they sign that confidentiality agreement, they can't go back on it. So she had to go with it when she became a crisis actress. So a lot of us believe that all these events that have been happening, the church shooting with nobody dying except a yellow plastic bag, the Sandy Hook event as far back as 2010, 7 years ago, and all the ones in between. Charlton, the North Carolina news reporter shooting, that was very, very rigged, very fake. David, you got a huge black hole. What does that mean, really? Are you a metaphysical expert or something? She asked if there were viewers in Tibet. Of course, we have viewers in Tibet. The Dalai Lama, for one, watches our show frequently in the lotus position. Frequently drifting into almost a transcendental stage of masturbation and enlightenment. Now another guy, Matthew Weiner. What is it with the Wieners, you know? Former Mad Men writer accuses Matthew Weiner of sexual harassment. I don't understand this. Yeah. Cater Gordon has accused series creator Matthew Weiner of making a sexually charged remark to her while she worked on the series. Weiner said she owed it to him to let him see her naked. Wow. That sucks. Gordon won an Emmy Award in 2009 for her work on Mad Men. She recalls freezing up and trying to brush off his comments. She didn't report the remark to anyone at the time out of fear of losing her job. And her exposing story is revealed because of the allegations being filed against Harvey Weinstein. Boy, they're really coming out of the woodwork now. I'm glad this is happening. We need to talk more about this type of thing that's going on behind the scenes in Washington and in Hollywood. Hopefully this will open up the story of Pizzagate and get to the bottom of that soon. A similar looking person is not evidence of crisis acting? I'm afraid it is. You're an imbecile if you don't think otherwise. That was her, and she really did crisis act. Plus, nobody died in the Pulse nightclub shooting that we know of because there were no autopsy results. No decedents had any funerals. She was the only link to the Pulse nightclub shooting that we knew of. The only mother that stepped up about her son. Nobody else. So what happened to the church recently is similar. Apparently nobody in that church that allegedly died existed. They've done a detailed search of the background, the names. We'll be playing a video of it tonight. No, I'm not any other person on the internet besides one character on Twitter that I've created. I have a comic character I created on Twitter. A famous comic character, by the way. That's the only lead I'm going to give you. That's my secret Twitter account. I don't think presidential candidates should even tweet, frankly, to be honest. I think it's damaging to our country to sit there and run our mouth off. What Donald Trump is doing in this country is slowly controlling foreign policy in a negative direction. No, I'm not Ensign Bob. Didn't he serve jail time or something for doing that? There are people that believe that Ensign Bob and others were eventually called out. No, I don't tweet as him. That's not really a good name. It's got to be bigger than Ensign Bob. It's not Charlie Chaplin.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be an emperor.
But it is definitely a famous comedian. All right. Welfare crew taking a raw approach to Dave's ideas. I don't believe that. Why don't I even click it? I mean, none of your copy reads what's going on. You're always giving me links to some violent UK video where somebody's getting knifed or beaten up in the street because you people, you've got gun control, right? You have no worries about walking up to somebody not knowing that they're armed because all they have is a knife. So of course people are knifing each other in UK. It's obvious. Wow, we got a few people watching at you now. Sarah Bruni. Hey, Sarah Bruni. Thanks for following me, ma'am. I know I'm not famous on Twitter. No, I've been completely censored on Twitter. We have @third_party, and we don't get many people to subscribe because the Twitter's account has been locked down. We're allowed to tweet, but it's shut down completely. I'm not abusing the mouse. Oh no, not another sexual assault claim. Oh well, here we go. They called that guy, you know, the person who we just show you, Charlie Chaplin, a commie. Remember that? Terry Crew files police report after sexual assault claim.
Accusations against powerful men in Hollywood just appear to be growing by the day. Now, a TV star has filed a police report. CBS 2's Cara Finstrom is live in Hollywood with that. Cara.
Yeah, good morning, Jeff. The latest accusations filed right here at this police station, and they come from actor Terry Crews. Take a look. TMZ caught up with Crews as he left the station yesterday. He claims an entertainment agent sexually assaulted him. Police sources tell us Crews named Adam Bennett in the report. Bennett heads up the motion picture group at William Morris Endeavor. The Brooklyn Nine-Nine star says Bennett groped him last year and that it happened at an event in front of Crews' wife. Bennett has been placed on leave while the company does its own investigation. Crews first talked publicly about this last month.
People have to be held accountable. We're going to go all the way.
Why did you?
Meanwhile, fallout from another of Hollywood's sexual misconduct scandals. Kevin Spacey is getting cut out of Ridley Scott's finished film, All the Money in the World. He is being replaced by actor Christopher Plummer, and sources say this is all happening just about 1 month before it's supposed to hit theaters. Sources close to the production also say that scenes with Spacey will all be reshot. The latest allegation against...
Look at his lips. Are you looking at his lips? I just saw it. That was weird. Look at his lips right here. Look at those lips. There's something going on there. He's got like a black mark on him. You see that? That's very black. See? Yeah, it's just something going on there. It's like, it's just strange. There's something not quite right with his lips. I'm not sure what's going on. All right, we've seen enough of this. Thank you. Another one is not going to be making another movie. Next story. What to do with political imperatives? Yeah. I just think that they're strangely altered by some disease or something. Oh my gosh. Now actor George Takei accused of sexual molestation and assault by a former actor and a model. The predator mentality of the homosexual man. Wow. This is coming under the limelight now, as Scott R. Brunton said the incident occurred in 1981 when he was beginning his career in Hollywood. He said he met Takei, who was 43, then at a bar, and the pair reportedly exchanged numbers and talked on occasion. When Brunton, then 23 years old, broke up with his boyfriend at the time, he said Takei was a great ear. He was very good at consoling me and understanding that I was upset and still in love with my boyfriend. Brunton recalled to the Hollywood Reporter, he was very good about me spilling my heart on my sleeve. Wow. Following a night out, the duo reportedly went back to Takei's apartment for drinks. During the second round, Brunton said he began feeling very disoriented and dizzy and thought he was going to pass out, he told the reporter. Brunton claimed he passed out in a beanbag chair in Takei's apartment, and when he regained consciousness, he allegedly found himself in a compromising position. The next thing I remember, I was coming to, and he had my pants down around my ankles, and he was groping my crotch and trying to get my underwear off, and feeling me up at the same time, trying to get his hands down my underwear. I came to and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I don't want to do this." Brunton claimed he left the apartment despite Takei telling him to relax and get comfortable. He said, "I managed to get my pants up and compose myself, and I was just shocked. I walked out and went to my car until I felt well enough to drive home, and that was that." Okay, that's the look of a potential predator, allegedly. All right, thank you so much for that shocking and terrible news about actor Takei. I used to watch Star Trek. It used to be fun for me. Now it's just a post-traumatic TV show disorder. David, in the recording, it's going to seem like your own story. Oh, you do that. Well, recording things when we're talking about allegations, you can pretend like you're talking about people who are being accosted like this man. But all I can tell you is none of these statements that you're making about me are true. I have never been accosted, molested by man. I've never had homosexual desires. The whole concept of me, to me, is abhorrent. And it bothers me that you would turn that into something against me, and I'm just reporting information. It shows me the deception that's going on here and how many people are just looking at it at just an inch to go and try to destroy me in any way they can. I've got slanderers and stalkers out there. It's unbelievable. The more popular I become, the more people are slandering me and stalking me, like that person who said they were going to use my words just now against me. This is a recorded video. I have a recording of the time and the date stamp of this video. So this is 1 hour and 30 minutes into the November 10th recorded video. I don't know what China is giving Trump in return for us giving them West Virginia. Does anybody know? Does anybody have a clue? I can see the comments, Frost Lakes. Yes, I am real. I am watching. You are watching. I am real. I'm on another network called Vaughn. But I can see you over at you now. I'm cool with that. I record everything, including this. Yes. This show is being recorded on YouTube right now. Yep. I didn't see that one about Richard Dreyfuss' son. Oh no, excuse me. His son was accused. Now I'm finding out that Richard Dreyfuss is being accused. Wow. Here we go. Here we go again. I did not see this. Thanks, Scissor Fight. In the wave of allegations made against actor Kevin Spacey, one of the most prominent was made by Harry Dreyfuss, the son of Jaws actor Richard Dreyfuss. Dreyfuss alleged that Spacey groped him when he was just 18 while his father was in the room and unaware. Dreyfuss tweeted out that his son was very brave for coming forward and that he was proud of him. I love my son, Harry Dreyfuss, more than I could explain with all the words in the world, and I'm so incredibly proud of him right now, according to Twitter. Unfortunately, Richard Dreyfuss is back in the news. This time with allegations of sexual harassment leveled against him by LA writer Jessica Teach. In an interview with Vulture, Teach explained her confusion seeing Dreyfuss come forward against sexual assault when he allegedly harassed her for years. When I read about his support for his son, which I would never question, I remember thinking, but wait a minute, this guy harassed me for months. He was in a position of so much power over me, and I didn't feel I could tell anyone about it. It just seems so hypocritical. Teach detailed the harassment she had to deal with while working with Dreyfuss on an ABC comedy special in the 80s. While she was in her mid-20s, Dreyfuss, over a decade her senior, in a story that is now uncomfortably familiar, Tyke alleges that Dreyfuss exposed himself to her without her consent. I remember walking up the steps into the trailer and turning towards my left, and he was at the back of the trailer, and just his penis was out. And he sort of tried to draw me close to it. He was hard. I remember my face being brought closer to his penis. I can't remember how my face got close to his penis, but I do remember that the idea was that I was going to give him a BJ. I didn't, and I left. It was like an out-of-body experience, she says. I just tried to swiftly get out of the room. I pretended it hadn't really happened. I kept moving because it was part of my job and knew who he was, at the time, a very important guy, and certainly important to me. I trusted him. That's what's always so weird. I liked him. That's part of why it's so painful. Because of the level of innocence one brings to these things, I felt responsible that I must have indicated in some way that I was available for this. According to Teich, this was not an isolated incident, with Dreyfuss continuing to harass her, leaving love notes, telling her that he wanted to F her and trying to kiss her in business settings. Okay, I've seen enough. I can't handle any more myself. I've been overdosed on molestation charges. I don't know if this is the story night, but it's very disturbing. I have no records. What records? Those aren't my records or somebody else's. We have some tranny and tabloid BS going on here, I admit. I don't really relish the idea that all this stuff is coming forth, but isn't it good? It's good that it's coming forth, right? Okay, 300,000-year-old skulls have been found that could rewrite the human origin story. This isn't a leaky find. This is something new. And Australopithecus may have been predated by yet another very interesting relative of ours. You know, that sure looks like my Uncle Charlie from 14,000 years ago. But I don't know, maybe carbon dating will show he's 300,000 years old after all. Uncle Leroy, yeah. I didn't read that. 284 does not in any way represent the UH viewers. No. I have never been gay. I'm not gay. I was reading from somebody else's gay translation. Look, there's been a lot of molestations going on in our culture, and if we don't have the sober... I watched You Have 5 Days. What? Jared, what are you saying? I know you watched the video. What are you saying? It's very weird. Thank you, Herbie Pills, for coming in here. I can see your comments. Okay. What video are you referring to, Jared? I never had a toupee. I like how you pronounce molestations. How do you pronounce them? Molestations? I'm not fascinated with gays. No, it did look like my Uncle Charlie, you're right. It's true. Look, I'm just reading from all these cases of Matthew Weiner, accusations of Matthew Weiner, accusations of Richard Dreyfuss, Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey. I mean, it's like Hollywood's been a sex orgy for years, and they're just finding out about it. That's what I think is happening. Charlotte air traffic controller charged with possession of a weapon of mass destruction. This could have averted a serious crisis when this man, an employee of the FAA, was arrested in Charlotte Friday after investigators alleged he was in possession of a weapon of mass destruction. He doesn't look like a normal person. I mean, according to the FBI, a 30-year-old Paul George Dandon was charged with possession of a weapon of mass destruction. He's got a $45,000 bail bond. The FBI said they are assisting the police in investigation. What is an explosive, incendiary, or poisonous gas? Huh. He probably had some mace on him for his personal defense. We don't know what kind of weapon it was, so we have no way of knowing. This is a story that's still evolving. Charlotte. All right. Thank you. Maybe he was just farting his way too much in the back room. I don't focus on dribble, no. This is my real hair. Nothing about this show is dribble. Why do you have to denigrate this show like that? Sexual molestation in Hollywood is not dribble. And Tom Cruise never got accused. Good point. No, I am not. I am not gay whatsoever. The people that I was just reading from were gay people that were involved in being approached by men, positioning them, forcing their body part on them. It's not me. The real-life Iron Man just broke a flying suit speed record. Huh. Wow. You know, 32 miles per hour is the fastest a body jet suit can do. So I know I could never get past 24 miles per hour in my body jet suit. That's great. That's good to know. And something I'm going to put in my archives tonight to watch later. That's cool. Thank you very much for that link. It's Richard Branson. No, it's Batman. No, it's Browning. His name is Browning. He uses leaf blowers running on battery packs. This show is relevant to becoming U.S. president. I want to talk about mobile service units for people in need. I just dealt with a lot of links that came in the show about molestation. I don't ignore links, okay? Just like I don't ignore homeless people that need mobile service units. We've been dealing with a lot of problems in this country, and we haven't really addressed homelessness at all. I'm trying to deal with brutality and homelessness tonight, and neither of you or none of you are really taking this subject on. Last night I talked about technology, and I don't want to bother your eardrums with technology right now. Your wife says you're no longer relevant in the sack. I never stole the Mayo Clinic ideas. This is just a unit that the Mayo Clinic has, which I'm just stamping MSU on the outside of. Bonjour from Paris. No, I do not speak a lot about gays. I am not gay. I'm just reciting what's going on in American press. Apparently a lot of people have been molested. Both homosexual men and heterosexual women have been molested. We're taking on one story after another tonight. It's been an unbelievable orgy of bizarre thoughts and weird discussions about people pursuing other people with their body. Yeah, those Uber stocks are not exactly moving forward, are they? Uber loses quite appeal. It may very well affect the ability to dominate the world of Uber. Yeah, look at this. A taxi hailing app firm Uber has lost an appeal against a ruling that drivers should be treated as workers rather than self-employed. Yeah. They are workers for Uber. They should have health insurance plans based on national laws, etc. I am not gay. Boy, I took on a lot when I read the stories of gay men being approached by other gay men. You know, doing the tough due diligence of exposing the truth is not easy, I'll tell you that. The UHF does exist. Thank you. Uh-oh. Yeah, I wouldn't use Uber either. It just gets disgusting. How much disgust do you want to talk about? I mean, how disgusting do you want the show to get? Really, it's your choice. U.S. Air Force General says China's advancing in space 5 times as quickly as the U.S. He is correct. Lieutenant General Steve Quask says the U.S. still leads every other country in space, but cautions that edge is whittling away. In my best military judgment, China is on a 10-year journey to operationalize space. We're on a 50-year journey. Yep. There he is. U.S. Air Force Lieutenant General Steve Quask. That's right. He's speaking at the New Worlds 2007 conference in Austin, Texas. Probably a New World Order type of conference. Yeah. He's also commander and president of Air University at Maxwell Air Force Base. He says the U.S. must bring together the right talent to accelerate the journey. I would agree. I want to put NASA front row center on my agenda to go automated and start building a mining mission to the moon. Our first step is to get mined operational capability of pulling rare earth metals off the moon's surface. This will accelerate beyond anything China has done. Ho. Okay, hi to Richelle. Bag Ends Audio says his wife is in the Philippines at this moment watching your cast at her local cafe. Hello, Bag Ends Audio's wife, Richelle. Welcome. Across the globe, all the way to the Philippines. Goodness. Thank you for that, Bag Ends. Appreciate it. We will allow transgenders into the military and into the space program. I don't care what your sexuality is. Really, you people are too focused on sex.
All I offer is the truth, nothing more.
Okay. Well, this happened. Red pills for all. I guess everybody's taking the red pill here. I'm not sure what this is, but let's take a look. Breaking the Matrix.
Hey, Break the Matrix here. So, interesting headline. Boyfriend of reporter killed on live TV elected delegate in Virginia will fight for gun control. The boyfriend of a news reporter shot and killed on live TV in 2015 won a seat in Virginia's House of Delegates Tuesday to fight for issues he said were important to them both. Now, if you don't remember who Chris Hurst is, his, at the time, fiance/girlfriend, whatever, Allison Parker, was supposedly shot on live TV 2 years ago. Now, if you guys don't remember, let me just show you really quick. Now, some of you might not even remember this, but this is the video. They're doing a live broadcast, and in the middle of the broadcast, disgruntled ex-employee of the WDBJ broadcasting station apparently arrived on the scene with a handgun and shot her and the cameraman dead. Let's take a look really quick.
Tourism, we want the people that come here to say that was...
Okay, not sure what happened there. We will, of course, let you know as soon as we find out what those sounds...
Okay. Now, there's plenty of hoax videos about that you can look up. It was complete bullshit. Nobody was shot. That was just complete horseshit.
Yeah.
And right after, I think the day after it happened, or the day of, this guy shows up. This is Chris Hurst, the one we just talked about in the headline that won Virginia's delegate seat. First of all, Chris Hurst. Hurst is, for those of you who don't know, is what you use to transport dead bodies in. So that's just odd that his last name is Hurst. But of course, just like all these other fake shootings, this guy goes around and does a 48-hour press junket after his supposed fiance, girlfriend, love of his life.
Yeah, I remember that when this happened, it just totally didn't add up. Well, now it's going to be in our video lineup tonight. Yeah, none of these events that have happened since Sandy Hook have been real, except for a couple. I believe the Cascade Mall shooting in my area where 5 people died was real, because we had closed circuit TV of the shooter shooting the people, and they played it. So that was real, the Cascade shooting incident that happened within 30 miles of my property here. There may be a few other events that are real, but for the most part, most of these don't have any evidence to legitimize their existence. So what's happening is a lot of this has become a kind of a feeding frenzy of the gun control people who want to push for their agenda. So they came up with these things which we lovingly call false flags. And they put them in front of us and make us think that, oh, the terrorists are coming. Oh, the guns are so dangerous. Oh, no. And all of the American people are then led to believe that we need to get rid of our guns and then fight more wars. Isn't that ironic? The government would love for all of us to get rid of all of our guns. And I'm with you, man. Herbie, I hear you over there at you now. I'm against gun control. They want to get rid of all the guns in the country. That would be great for a lot of these Democrats that sit there and vote for people like Hillary. And then they want to, ultimately push for more war like Donald Trump does. So you get the Trump-tards supporting war from the false flags. Oh, fear of terror. Oh, no. And then you get all the Democrats who are wanting to get rid of the guns from the left side. That's what's happening. I think I explained everything as clear as I could possibly make it for a lot of you. That's what we're trying to do, is trying to make politics easy to understand. And what's really behind these events, whether they're true or not, is the government has an agenda, and they want to just demilitarize the population. They want to keep us all basically weak. And I must remind you that every single Holocaust in the history of mankind has been preceded by gun control. I rest my case. If you can show me evidence of any of the closed-circuit TV of Stephen Paddock's hotel room at the Mandalay Bay, of him carrying guns in to his room, because allegedly he had 30 guns, where is the CCTV footage of that? And where is the CCTV footage of the Manhattan attack that allegedly happened in real time with a guy using a Home Depot truck running over people? Where's the closed-circuit TV footage of that? What's the government hiding? And if you don't ask these big questions, then you won't know what we're talking about. No, none of my views contradict myself at all. You show me evidence. The burden of proof is on the police to show evidence that this actually happened. Yes, guns have been around since Adolf Hitler, for instance, invoked a small handgun treaty, an international small handgun treaty, to get rid of all the guns in the ghettos where the Jews were living before they were hauled away to the death camps. Yeah, Hitler used the same small arms gun treaty that John Kerry signed into law and Donald Trump endorsed. The very same thing the UN could use against us right now. They could use it just like Hitler did in the 1930s. More chemtrails over a scissor fight. Look at that. Just like a blanket of chemicals over the sky of California. That is not a regular cloud. Those are like strewn chemicals designed to prevent lift of moisture. Look at the line that was left in the sky. He's getting doused every day in his house. Look at that. It's crazy. All of California is being turned into a dehydration zone, preventing rain, preventing lift. It's bad. It's not going to get any better either if we don't confront this with government action. Wow, look at that. And the ominousness of this music. Okay, I'm getting a little too freaked out. I'm going to dump out right now on this one, but thank you, Scissor Fight, for showing us this. I'm going to add it to our link library tonight and our chemtrail section. Thank you. All right, Sarah. I'm back again. Thank you for coming in. Thanks for hearing about my mobile service unit idea, which is novel and would be very similar to the mobile medical units created by the Mayo Clinic. All right. I had to read some of the sexual molestation stories recently that are permeating, men being accosted by other men, etc. And then people say that they're recording the broadcast and they make it sound like I'm saying that. And I'm just reading from text that I'm reading off the news. So November 10th will be our date to remember. Second broadcast, part 2. We'll just give valid information about, I am not gay. I'm with one of the most beautiful women in the world. In my eyes, I'm very happy.
Hello, Rochelle.
Thank you. And Sarah and I are very happy together. These people that are just absolutely bizarre in their statements don't deserve to be in here right now. And we're going to go ahead and turn this show over to Sarah in just a second. She's going to turn guest chat off if you guys keep it up. Sarah knows I'm not gay.
Exactly.
All right. Today, November 10th, somebody came in the room and recorded my broadcast and acted like I was reciting statements directly from my own self, and I wasn't. I'm not gay.
Thank you, Gerard, for inviting all your fans. Fantastic.
All right.
I like your little emoticons.
Stephen Gerard is, you know, he set a plan to get 5,000 fans by December, and he got it. Mm-hmm. He's almost there. He's at 4,000. You're almost there, Stephen. I just added myself. I fanned myself to you. You know, victims from Hollywood have been screaming stuff for years. It's just now that people are hearing it. I know. Well, it took the Hollywood Police Department 7 years of complaints about Harvey Weinstein to say that they're finally going to press charges. Can you believe that? In Bahrain, an explosion ignites an oil pipeline fire, but no reported injuries so far. Well, we have a great show every night. I'm very happy. And Sarah's going to give you another few minutes, 15, 30 minutes, depending on what she does here. I don't think anybody impersonated me. What are you talking about? Oh, you have a new channel made. Okay, Scissor Fight made a new channel. I'm going to go ahead and follow it right away. Oh, good. And you've got 1,000 followers already. Great. I just subscribed. Cool, man. So you're uploading to the new channel. How did you get 1,000 subscribers already? You're doing great. That's awesome. No, I did that video. That was my choice. I didn't impersonate myself. That was me that did the blackface video. Yes, Scissor Fight does have more followers than I do. We have been locked. Our follower numbers have been locked for 6 or 7 years now. It's your backup channel. Good. I'm glad you got it. That's good. Yeah, there is a parody of me in many different areas. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I did the video, so I could get noticed to break through the censorship that's being imposed in America. You're welcome, Stephen. I don't mind becoming your fan. You're on a good pathway to becoming popular on that network. Okay, I'm going to leave the show to Sarah. I didn't talk to anybody here, no. He said he will kick you out to bring me in. What are you saying? That's just not something I said.
Okay, awesome, Sarah Bruni.
All right.
Sarah Bruni 13 on you now. Okay, good. Steven? I've never heard of that. Freakazoid. Okay. Chris, you have no idea. And Chris's mom? Okay. Welcome. I'm Sarah. And there's another Sarah. She's watching us over on YouTube. YouTube.com/America's Third Party. And she's also on YouNow. Sarah Bruni 13. No, 631. David's never been on that. Okay, was Sarah Bruni 79? It's all good. Oh, so sad. All right. Oh, I said I will give you a little medical trivia tonight. I'll keep going with that. We're on the letter B. Hi, Froggy. What is one of the many groups into which a person can be categorized based on the presence or absence of specific antigens? This is inherited. Transfusions can only be given between donors and recipients who have compatible types. What is it? Who are compatible. Blood type is correct. A lot is separated. I always got that confused, Sarah, but you have to separate A and lot. I always put them together too, like a lot, like one word, but it actually is two words, like a whole group, a whole group, lot, a lot, separate words. Kind of crazy. Look it up in the dictionary, it's weird. I know, I thought it was the same difference, but it's not. If blood types are not compatible, the blood of the recipient forms antibodies against the blood of the donor. There are four basic groupings of blood type: A, B, AB, and O. And within these groupings, the Rh factor may be present or absent. You have a free spin in 5 to 6 minutes. What is a free spin, Stephen? I know, I get a lot wrong. It's all stemming from the word lot, yes. I know, a lot, when people put it together, it's one of your biggest pet peeves, when they put it together. I used to put it together all the time, like starting in 6th grade. And I think my 6th grade teacher must have put it together too, because she never corrected me. It's only when I became an adult that I learned that it's two separate words. It's not one word. And you would think I would know that. Like, anyway. What are you referring to deep down? Just smile. I'm glad you learned a lot in 6th grade as well. Learn to separate them. It's so you can give the broadcaster of your choice a free gift. Wow. There's a girl that looks like me and she's not she's not 41. Oh, his ex-wife. Oh, she hasn't been seen in public since October 6th. She's 41. She's just a little bit older than me. Looks a little bit like me. Wow. Interesting scissor fight or deep down. There's a cable that Israel has instructed diplomats to support Saudis. Did not see your post about OJ. Oh, thanks, Stephen. David will be on later tonight. David does seem like he is a oh, true, Sarah, from biblical times, if you want to get technical. True. The followers of Lot. Okay, Bag and Audio says, O.J. Simpson already got a ban from a casino in Vegas for causing a scene being drunk. In your opinion, he'll be back in prison before long. All right, what is the pressure against the wall of the vessels, especially, it's expressed in two figures. One is over the other. One is called systolic, which is a pressure when the left ventricle of the heart contracts to push the blood through the body, and the diastolic, which is a pressure when the ventricle relaxes and fills with blood. Correct, it is blood pressure, systolic and diastolic. Blood pressure is affected by the strength of the heartbeat, the volume of blood in the body, the elasticity of the blood vessels, and the age and general health of the person. Well, good, they should be apologizing. What is that? You just say, oh snap, and you post a YouTube link and expect me to click on it? I'm not David. I don't click on every link that you guys post. Which coronary artery is the most likely to be congested? Let's see. This is a question for me. The venial artery? I'm just making a guess. Yes, I had heard about Weinstein hiring Black Cube, which markets itself as a group of ex-members of Israeli intelligence units specializing in business and litigation challenges to help to stop the publication of abuse allegations against Weinstein. All right, what is the fluid circulating through the heart, arteries, veins, and capillaries of the circulatory system? Blood. Ooh, ha 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 ha. Blood indeed, indeed. Now, alcohol's only through your circulatory system. Most people have good blood. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients to the cells of the body and removes waste material, like alcohol, and carbon dioxide. It's composed of plasma, mainly water, but with a mixture of hormones, nutrients, gases, antibodies, and wastes. It also is red blood cells, which carry oxygen, white blood cells, which combat infection, and platelets, which help the blood clot. Blood. All right. New clue. What is a small region in the visual field that cannot be seen? It's an area scanned by the eye that cannot be seen. Correct. 467 and iGlue and 801. It is a blind spot. Be wary of those followers. Lot is what Sodom and Gomorrah were about. Not about who loves whom, but how. Ooh, yes. True. Spot on about kidding. Good one, Froggy. The blind spot corresponds to an area in the eye where the optic nerve enters the retina. In a general sense, the term is used to refer to an inability to see things that might be obvious to another observer. He has a blind spot as far as his daughter's behavior is concerned. I believe so, Baggins audio. He says, if one lung is collapsing, can you survive with just one? Yes, you can live with one lung. All right, what is a stretchable sac-like structure in the body that holds fluids? The term is used most often to refer... Oh, it's part of the excretory system. The bladder. The bladder. Good job. 476. It's used to refer to the urinary bladder. Another kind of bladder is the gallbladder. They remove one lung when they have cancer, lung cancer. Thank you, Cheesy, for loving my hair. It's pretty interesting. Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt, Sarah. Deep Down says, President Trump's irresponsible pandering to Israel and its American Jewish agents has caused deep unease among the generals in his cabinet, as well as among active duty and retired U.S. military officers who are skeptical about Tel Aviv's push for open-ended U.S. wars in the Middle East. Oh, thanks for the little claps. I appreciate that. I don't think David has the agenda of being controlled opposition. Definitely. David is not controllable. What is a chronic disease caused by inhaling coal dust over long periods? Oh, I found it. I found a typo in this book. It is an example of an occupational disease. Black lung disease is correct. Good job, I Ate Glue and Baggins audio. Adamon. I have to look up that word. You're teaching me a new word, Sarah. Oh. Never mind. A demon. Got you. Lot is a demon by a ton of names. Well, Lot was actually not the demon, though. Lot in the Bible was the only one who was not sinning. Lot was the one that God sent his angels to protect. And he said, hey, Lot, this town of Sodom and Gomorrah is completely full of wicked people, and you're the only person that's not going with all the wickedness. So don't go with the flow, and because you don't go with the flow, well, no, Lot, I will say in a way Lot sinned by, did it say he's slept with his daughters later on? I don't remember him sleeping with his daughters later on, but I do remember him saying that he wanted to, something about giving up his daughters or something. A place attached to a person. He was a demon, though. Then why did God rescue him if he was a demon? If you believe in all that. David isn't sawing anything. He's cleaning.
Cleaning a little dust.
Things are getting a little dusty around here. Cleaning.
And as he's scraping his, or wiping his thing, it sounds like a...
yeah, I'm just cleaning up a little bit. Dust collects.
Now you want me to go get the Bible, Sarah? I don't want to read from the Bible. Okay. Something like that. Meta-nemesis. Alright, well, we won't argue about lots. It's fine, cheesy. Sure, 146, you can wait. I don't think any translation is in question. Never mind. I'll move on. What is also known as manic depressive illness? This psychiatric disorder is marked by periods of euphoric, manic highs, often followed by periods of depression. Correct. 312 and 801. Bipolar disorder. Dr. Meow calls it emoism. Only if they go manic as well. LOL. Emoism. All the sick chatters know about bipolar. No, never mind. Moving on. What is the new clue? What is the innate rhythm of behavior and body activity in living things? It's a 24-hour cycle of body activity. Oh. Hopefully, stay on your medication then, Sarah. You say circadian rhythm, biorhythm, close enough. It says a biological clock. Thanks, Froggy. Yes, or Froggy. Whoever said that about David and my relationship. Froggy. I hope that you two do. It's just, you know, I guess it's just acceptance and endurance. Sometimes our relationship is about endurance. Just going with it. The whole grin and bear it thing.
Okay, let's do
All right.
Let's do a Price is Right competition here. Quiz time. We have an item that we picked up at a store recently. This is 10 individual 1.05 ounce snack packs of organic cookie bites. Inside this box, 10 separate individually wrapped cookie sets.
Here, let's open it up to see what's inside.
Well, I haven't opened this box. Have you opened any of these yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Let's open them up. This is a big moment for us.
Well, the thing is, can you name that price? How much did I spend on this whole box?
This whole box of cookies, organic cookies.
And inside each box is 10 packages.
Organic, non-GMO Annie's cookies. What's the total box cost?
Is it expired? Let's see. What's the date on here? It's good by the 18th of December, 2017. Not yet expired.
This could be like a 50 cents at an airport or $1. This could be like $3 at an airport.
$10 for 7-6 guesses. 950 must have found the correct answer.
Yep, that is correct.
99 cents.
We bought a bunch of these. I saw them at the grocery outlet. And are you having one now? Oh, good for you. I'll be back. My coffee.
Oh, really? David doesn't need anything new. His current everything works now. Mmm. Mmm.
You know, I was raised with a pretty humble set of appreciation. factory.
That's really good.
Aren't those good? I've had those before. They're really tasty. They're better than Famous Amos.
Organic wheat flour, organic semi-sweet chocolate chips that is made from cane sugar, chocolate, cocoa butter, and vanilla extract, all organic.
Yep.
Oat flour, palm oil, sunflower oil, all organic.
Yep.
Invert cane syrup, sea salt, molasses.
We don't collect
And
coupons,
vitamin
no.
E.
My family used to collect green stamps, though, in the day, I'll tell you. My mother really, I remember the years in the 60s and 70s, early 70s, when green stamps were popular. December 18th, I think, was the expiration date, so we're still good.
I think they accidentally put too many chocolate chips in the recipe.
Yeah, there's too many chocolate chips. You can't really go wrong with that, though.
I know, that works for me.
I don't do cocaine. I don't do methamphetamines or
Oh, Sarah,
crack.
we're only a year apart.
Unlike Barack Obama, I'm not a crackhead. I have a body part, yes.
I don't.
No, she doesn't, but I
So
do.
you're right.
Hey, please don't ignore me. I'm not, Cheesy. We're watching everything you do.
Cheesy, look at this hair. See how long it is?
Wow.
I just wanted to show you my hair, Cheesy, because I know I'm not ignoring you. Are
Cheesy,
most men pigs?
Yes. Cover your webcam.
No.
Cheesy, cover your webcam. It's not safe to have an uncovered webcam.
I know, you love my hair. That's why I showed it to you. I wasn't ignoring you. I was just enjoying my cookies.
All the DNA. I should pull out the old green stamp coupons that my family saved. My mother's DNA would be on them. You're right. You know, every year she cuts about a foot off. It's amazing. It's real hair. Yeah, Sarah has really real hair. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful brown hair. It's really the best hair anyone could ever have. It's not too thick, but it's thick enough to have a natural curl. I am not in any way bad actors. No. I have no professional training whatsoever. Well, people, not only Indians and Chinese like hair, but people in Haiti use it for voodoo. And they oftentimes create voodoo dolls and stick pins in it. So you may want to think twice about giving your hair away.
I was going to offer one of these cookies to David, but they're too good. I'm going to eat them all myself.
I'm not a big cookie person anyway. I was very lucky to find Sarah, but it wasn't luck. It was a little luck, but it was 2 years, 11 hours a day. That's how long it took for us to locate each other. I don't think she was on the internet that much, but I put a lot of effort into finding the right person in my life. Nope, we don't give donations of hair because some of you might be performing voodoo. We don't trust that. If you do the voodoo that you do when you do, then you don't want to do anymore. You do.
But then you won't like me when I get fat, Blink, and so then you kick me to the curb.
Well, Scientology is now under the attack by Donald Trump. He says he wants to make it so Scientology doesn't have tax-exempt status. And I have a plan to put 10% flat taxes out there that makes it so anybody who makes over $100,000, including a church, would end up paying taxes. So, but Donald wants to single out Scientologists. He's openly said it.
No, David doesn't like.
I don't push. No, in fact, that's why we got the individual packets, because this way it limits everybody to one packet a day. So you know, you don't overdo the chocolate chip cookies. Well, it's easy to overdo. I mean, if it was an open box, I doubt it would last a day with me around. So I'm glad they're in individual packets. I think it's a really good idea. So the White House is bracing for another staff shakeup. Deputy Chief of Staff Rick Dearborn is expected to be reassigned to the Commerce Department or another federal agency. Who cares?
Next time I should just eat a couple cookies out of here.
Well, I think it's great that you had a treat, a dessert, you know. I just won't give you any ice cream tonight, so that's your dessert.
Mm-hmm. It's well worth it.
No, I don't plan on losing. I just plan on getting 1 second of media time. You know, my goal is to get 1 second of media time in American mainstream media. I haven't had that second yet. I just want to come out with a really simple pitch that we are in need of help. That's all I can do. Help. That would be my 1 second.
Well, think about it, Blink. 1 packet is 1 meal, and the whole box was 10 packets for $1. So David could make 10 meals from a box. And he doesn't even have to cook. I mean, there's my dinner right there.
Yeah, imagine how simple life would be if we just like pulled chicken pot pies out of the freezer and threw it in the oven every day. I could do that, actually. I could probably pull it off.
No, David doesn't. I can eat anything I want. However, I know the whole box was only $1. I'm like, man, I should have bought the whole case.
Somebody said, David, what is it with the mass shootings? Well, I believe that, you don't have to believe as I do, but I believe that we're encountering deception and death and destruction. But first comes deception. And right now I think we're being deceived by a group of people that are perpetrating hoaxes and getting away with it because they control the media. Now, you don't have to agree with me, but until I see credible evidence of these events and closed circuit TV of Stephen Paddock putting guns in his hotel room, I'm not going to believe any of this is real.
That's true, 376, except I'm not anorexic. You saw me eat, and I'm not going to go throw up, so I'm not anorexic.
No, you can have ice cream if you want. I don't control the food around here.
That's why I said you don't control the food. No, I just choose to not
she could have ice cream.
Eat a lot. And sometimes David actually complains that I'm not eating certain things that we bought.
Well, I did buy 6 pounds
stop buying things.
I bought 6 pounds of bacon because she loves bacon, but she doesn't ever defrost them and eat them. So they're sitting in the refrigerator for the past year. The freezer.
I don't know if they haven't been sitting there for a year.
Well,
I mean,
8
maybe
months.
6
Okay.
months.
Okay.
But 3 to 6 months. Not even 6 months. 3 months.
Okay, whatever. There were pictures of 3 gunmen on the top of a roof in Mandalay Bay, so we're looking at that right now, that footage.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is real footage of the shooting. There they are right there, and you can see the rifles in their mounts. Why were 3 men on the rooftop with rifles during the Mandalay Bay shooting?
Maybe that's where they were shooting from, so they went up to the rooftop to check it out to make sure there was no one shooting from the rooftop. If
the media deceives us about mass shootings, why not Trump? Well, the media is deceiving you about Trump. Thank you, Sarah. Awesome.
Good night.
Good night, everyone, from Sarah. Thank you, Sarah.
Certainly.
That was good cooking.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
But you are right that you have to put food in front of me to eat.
Yeah.
And I would have just left the I would have just probably not had that before. Well, tomorrow we should show this. Well, it's almost 11 a.m. there. You should show this, David. Because tomorrow's Veterans Day.
Yeah.
And this actually came out on Veterans Day.
Well, let's do that tomorrow then.
This was actually created on Veterans. This was the first Veterans Day ever. This is why Veterans Day is on November 11th, by the way.
Yeah.
It's from this. This is it.
This is because we have the actual photograph. Actually, the actual newspaper from World War I ending and the beginning of Labor Day, or Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
Thank you.
Which is why I didn't have work today.
That's right. And I never colluded with the Russians in my life. Trump did. And I'm here to explain that to you. CNN has been covering for Trump. Mark Zucker, the CEO of CNN, pulled a story on Mike Flynn because Trump told him to pull it. 3 journalists quit over that job. Hey, go ahead, Blink. You can claim, like I've got people right now making accusations that I worked with Russia. I've never talked to Russia in my life. If the Latvian girl was a communicator of Russia, she claims she was from Latvia. If she's working for Russia, that's not my problem. Well, I can be sure that there's a telling the truth because they're missing evidence. They're not telling the truth because there's missing evidence. Anytime there's missing evidence, and like the chief of police in Las Vegas will not even appear in front of a camera now, and the story morphed about Jesus Campos, about whether he got shot before or after the shooting. The whole thing was a mess. They left. No one has heard from them either. And no one at Clark County coroner wants to talk to anybody, and no one saw any corpses going in there. So yeah, we're being lied to, and it's an attempt by these people, perpetrators of deception, and they're getting away with it. Now, I'll tell you something. If our government doesn't look at this as a real problem, false flags, they could take it to another level and pretty soon convince people that there's riots in three separate cities, and all of a sudden, today in the news, we announced that the entire country is under martial law. You're not allowed to leave your home until the alert buttons are, the bells are telling you can actually leave in the morning. And you have to go in at a certain hour. And all your books will be confiscated because they've decided that books are propaganda and fake news. So we'll be seeing an entire global takeover of our freedoms, especially in America. And that's why this is a very, very crazy thing that they're doing. Pushing fake news or pushing false flags is just prepping us for more fake news and false flags. And until we catch the perpetrator of this, the cabal, the shadow government that's secretly doing this, we're susceptible to being manipulated again and again. So they're setting us up to be manipulated again. What's the next false flag that'll happen, and how many people will really die? Because I believe people were hurt in Mandalay Bay. I really do. Okay, I love you long time, Cheesy. Thanks for letting us give you attention. You believe that Latvian girl was ex-KGB by Mark, but she is trying to gain your trust, start up an online relationship, and get news so you can be blackmailed. You heard this through someone who knows Mark. Well, you know, I'm copying this to my threat library, Blink. Thank you. You know, I really wish, if you want to really make a difference here, write me an email from your email account and send it to me. You know, attention, David. This is regarding their attack on their show. Thanks for letting us give you attention. Yes, I'm so glad to provide you with the attention you deserve so greatly. I don't know what to do with this thing, so I'm going to type in the notepad here.
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way you talk. I need your permission to help.
To hell? No. To hell with you. Trust that. That's Cortana, the Windows 10 person that tells me what to do. I believe that millions and millions of people are watching my, quote, hobby. I would never collude with Russia. I have no relationship whatsoever with Russian people. I think the Trump news about Russia is true. No. You're the one who just completely disregards the lack of evidence in the false flag cases. Of course I am not a Russian spy. What makes you think I am in any way Russian? Once in a while, you tell me I sound very Russian. That is ridiculous. I speak very good American English just like you. The Latvian girl sounded like an American, which makes me think she was Mossad. Yeah, I don't trust people that speak perfect English, claiming they're from Latvia. I mean, come on. I couldn't possibly trust her when she came into our room and said, "Hi, Dave." No, don't bother. No one wants to lick anybody's butt. You're really out to lunch, buddy. You need help. Here she was when she first came into our show.
Hey David, Latvians love you. David Sponheim for President 2020.
She seems like a very rich, well-to-do Russian connection to Vladimir Putin. Very likely a niece or nephew. Or transgender. We're not sure. And then she came in again because people didn't believe she was from Latvia.
Hey, since people in the chat didn't believe that I'm Latvian, hey, te nu es esmu latvieta, un es nevienam nemeloju, un es runāju latviski, tā, jā, davai, aiziet, kā jums visiem iet.
And then she pretended to be from yet another time working in the workplace where she was currently working. She calls me and says this.
Hey David, Latvians love you. David Sponheim for president.
I'm sorry, I played that already. Let me go to other video clip. Hold on, and I want you to turn your head to the side when watching this video clip of the Latvian woman last we seen of her in our show.
Hey David, thanks for keeping me awake while I slay my night shift. The chat has been very fun lately, and you've been very entertaining.
Now, if it sounds a little too good to be true, it is too good to be true, because it's not true. It's fake. There's got to be something wrong here. She speaks perfect English. She's a beautiful woman, obviously put out there to make me go, wow, and you went, wow, 125 did. Lots of poop in America. Here, none good. You have a lot of poop where you are? Or... Let's not talk about poop tonight, okay? Thanks. That's Wasteful Wednesday. We talk about that on Wednesday. Wasteful. Poop is waste. I must tell you, I have an expert who came into the room who is Polish, who knows Latvian people, and says that in no way was her Latvian good Latvian. It was fake. More like a Mossad or possibly Russian related. Maybe even Ukrainian. Okay, well, whatever. She'll never be back again. Yeah, that was just some sort of a... They were trying to interrupt me because I was presenting the truth about Donald Trump and Russia, which is still becoming more and more evident every day. I'm not taking the word of the chat room and stating it as fact at all. I merely posted a statement that...
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way you talk.
Yes.
I need your permission to help.
To hell? I'm not going to send you to hell. Well, I have many things here to remember. Blink 1488 says, Latvian girl was ex-KGB paid by Mark. She was trying to gain your trust, start up online relationship with you, and get nude so you could be blackmailed. I heard through someone who knows Mark. This is what the Blink 1488 tells me right now in the room. So there's definitely a connection between what's going on with what Blink knows about Mark and what this woman was all about. You heard that too, Blink? Wow. Well, I'm trying to be as stupid as I can on this one, so help me out here. Do you know that what they're saying is not true? Because so far I've had 2 people corroborate that that's true. She didn't want nudes. No, we never got into any sex talk. I don't do that. I'm not playing any games. 13th Apostle is answer, by the way. Yeah, right. Thanks, Sarah Bruni. Hey, are you into religious text and law and all kinds of religious stories? Maybe you want to hang out for our Bible trivia test tomorrow night. Okay. I don't know. She could have been hired by Mossad. I don't know. Yes, I heard a former Trump advisor found guilty claims he lied out of loyalty to Trump. Yes, Papadopoulos has made this very clear. He lied about loyalty to Trump.
Nigger!
You know, I told you not to do that. You are a bad guy. We do not endorse the N-word here. That was an error due to the fact that somebody posted a link here. That was horrible. That was almost as bad as when Barack Obama used the N-word in a podcast. Well, let's be clear. As a beep, 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 I never felt that I was treated properly. I know, I couldn't control it. That probably could cost me real votes. Wink, wink. Yeah, well, I do not endorse any type of racism. I was violated too. Well, I don't need to ask my billions of viewers to know that they don't like racism. But as you know, people who are white are seen by other countries as being a bunch of goons and freaks. So there's a lot of racism around the world. They look at Caucasians as being some freak. Yeah. So believe me, racism is a word that's used to describe how people just decide to categorize people. There's no way we can control it. I would like to minimize it by getting people to speak clearly with each other and help respect each other by getting to know each other. Getting to know you. Getting to find out about your subculture. I lost your vote. I'm so sorry. So B-Pig, are you a paid troll here to come in here and present stories about Mark hiring the Latvian girl? Right, yes, a writer has accused Richard Dreyfuss of exposing himself to her in the 1980s. And she was not impressed. Yeah, a female writer has accused Richard Dreyfuss of exposing himself. You know, I think, let me get to the bottom of what's happening here. Yeah, this is the story we just featured earlier. We're dealing with the male libido. And you can see we talked about men hitting on other men that are homosexuals. We also talked about men like Richard Dreyfuss hitting on his former associate. For every comment, 10 rubles are deposited in your account. Wow. No, I'm not into pizza. I don't like the carbs. Well, yes, I am the independent candidate you're here to rally about. Yes. I want to be more of that person too. Less of a comedian in your eyes. I'm not here to make jokes. I'm here to get serious because our country really is in a situation. It's not getting any better. I have proven I've had one vote. Yes, I had 4,300 votes in 2014. Look it up. No, an independent candidate who's never had any mainstream media press whatsoever. And now known around the world by hundreds of millions of people. And if you don't see the problem with that, then you've got a real mental block. Yes, Mary Magdalene was the 13th apostle. That's a theory that many people didn't really believe in until recently when they reanalyzed the picture of the Last Supper. Sarah Bruni's in. Yeah, Bruni. Are you Italian? Are you related to some of the great ones, like Bruno? Yeah, Bruno was an amazing. Giordano Bruno was one of the most amazing, I guess, astronomers of the time. And he's the one that preceded Copernicus. Giordano Bruno. He was a philosopher, a friar, a mathematician, poet, a cosmological theorist. He is known for his cosmological theories, which conceptually extended the then novel Copernican model. Oh, so he was right after Copernicus. Okay. I don't know. Well, maybe. He proposed that stars were just distant suns surrounded by their own exoplanets and raised the possibility that these planets could even foster life of their own. A philosophical position known as cosmic pluralism, and it was deplored by the Vatican. He also insisted that the universe is in fact infinite and could have no celestial body at its center, which was completely against the heliocentric beliefs of the Vatican that were promoted at the time. He was tried for heresy by the Roman Inquisition and charged of denial of several core Catholic doctrines, including external damnation, the Trinity, the divinity of Christ, and the virginity of Mary, and transubstantiation. And as with all of these alleged heretics, he was burned at the stake. All right, so many of you flat earthers who believe in that the earth is flat are standing in the wake of the death of all these great mathematicians that died burning at the stake for the belief that we are living on a spherical globe and it's not the center of the universe. What's your song? I am being protected and fostering the earth, yes. I think the Roman Catholic Church is committing heresy right now. I really believe that the current Pope, who denies the existence of hell, is just absolutely turning against his own flock. Now, some people think that the Catholic Church has lost its flock. Well, the center of the Catholic Church might be somewhere else. I'm not Rick Astley. Yes, dude, if you believe in the flat earth subject, you are an absolute moron. The CIA developed the flat earth concept and pushed it on the internet the past 10 years. It's called Operation Shoot the Moon. And it was designed to turn your mind upside down. They found out that people were coming up with credible questions about the moon landing. And they didn't like that because there's more and more evidence that the moon landing was faked. So they came up with this concept of putting the moon landing fake photos out there, denying the existence that NASA is even a real agency, claiming that it's completely fake, and that they've been faking everything, including the entire picture of the universe. And they've got all these morons believing that somehow the Earth is flat and there's nothing beyond the dome that sits over our head, which, by the way, is a projection screen receiving holographic images from some complex projection unit coming from Earth. I mean, you might as well just take, the Q-tip and go a little farther and drain your ears into the toilet, because your brains are really kind of dribbling out of your head. I just can't believe anyone would believe such nonsense, and the CIA can't believe it either. They put this out there, and people are like, yeah, I heard about that on Alex Jones. You're out of your mind.
You're not going to believe this, but the entire Earth is completely flat, like paper. And this is all just an elaborate projection screen. And somebody asked me, what's out there? And I said, nothing. What's beyond the dome? Nothing. Nothing's out there. There's nothing anywhere except right here, under the dome.
It's a little too tight. Want me to loosen it up? I'm calling all of you people who are whack jobs and conspiracy theorists to lighten up. Clearly we didn't go to the moon. It's absurd. My stories are credible. Alex turns them into a joke.
You're not going to believe they're splicing human beings with animals and creating genetic mutations.
Yeah, I think Alex is one of them. And he's not even Alex. The real Alex is gone, man. He's long gone. Bravo. Thank you very much. I appreciate your criticism. And I will be passing it on to some of the experts who realize your future and are doing everything they can to exterminate you. Physicists aren't saying we live in a holographic universe. Every credible theorist out there believes in an infinite universe, like Carl Sagan. The infinite universe we live in. My campaign is not fake, it's very real, and it is blowing the axis off of America's censorship. In a little while, I will be known. I'm beyond stage 1. I'm all the way to stage 4 of the truth cycle. You've been muted. I'm not a threat to the New World Order, no. Infinite doesn't sound like BS just because you can't comprehend it. What if I told you that it is possible to comprehend infinite, but that your brain would blow up? So why don't you just back off of the infinite concept, because you don't want to blow up. Some of these people are going, well, I can't think any farther than outside the universe. Well, what's beyond the universe? There's nothing out there. My God, you're like a toad. You're like an atavistic organism, simply responding to heat and light signals, and much want to replicate using your sex organ. You humans and anthropods are all alike. The universe is infinite, for sure. When you look up in the sky, you see an infinite amount of clouds and an infinite amount of chemtrails. And then beyond that, there's some stars somewhere. All right. I'm watching your faces with the volume down, and it's epic. Really, thank you. Forget the volume. Just look at my faces. It's true. I'm very photogenic. People are jealous of me whenever I go out. They say, man, you are really photogenic. Look at that. Some guy took pictures of me in the show. Look at that. I mean, isn't that phenomenal? And how do you get a face like that? That's like too good. Yeah, network neutrality, removed from TPP. Who cares? You know, the government's taken over YouTube, Facebook, all the social networks, and you're worried about net neutrality? I mean, come on. We're already down the slope and we're in the toilet bowl and it's flushing. Okay? Chemtrails are real and my hairline is real right here. That's right. I do love myself. You need to love yourself before you can love others. That's an old adage, but it's true. And you need to have a good sense of humor. Excellent. So I'm so glad we could have a worldwide audience tonight. I thought flat earth theory was outdated centuries ago, Sarah Bruni. I know, seriously. Can you believe that? Sarah Bruni, you're over at YouTube too. You really get around. I'm impressed. Try Roman or Greek translations of the Bible for what really may have happened back then if you believe in such things. Well, many people believe in the Bible. But what you don't know is that it's been rewritten. Hey, hello, Times Square. Welcome. The Bible has been rewritten so many times to justify the mindset of the leading ruling class that it's got its miscommunications, just like any other written text humans have delved into. Let's not forget that the Bible dates back to the Levites, and their changes and alterations to the Bible reflect the King David. Or perhaps King James, who actually is perhaps the greatest author of the Bible today. I'm not mocking Christ. What the hell, man? I didn't say anything bad about Jesus. This guy thinks I'm mocking Christ. What a jerk. Of course the Levites made alterations to the Bible. I mean, you read the Talmud, and you read all of the original text, cross-check it with the American Bible, the Standard Bible, and measure it against King James Version, and you clearly have a gross translational crisis. My jive talk is cool. I'm a highly adaptive cybernetic organism. I can deal with any kind of situation comes my way in the event of a major takedown. Yeah, I'm capable of dealing with any kind of an urban crisis. I can adapt to the community around which I'm dealing with to find food and forage for bits of kernels of dung to eat out of.
More questions, they're not difficult.
Nothing's difficult about this show. It's very easy. I showed you 3 shooters in the top of the Mandalay Bay building shooting rifles at people, and you're like, oh, yeah, whatever. No, I do not believe anyone is the reincarnation of Mary Magdalene. I met a woman who claimed to me Mary Magdalene. She was completely schizophrenic. She said her name was Mother Mary, and she was born on 7/11, and she said that they came up with the entire themes for 7/11 was thank heaven for 7/11. That was part of their advertising scheme. And she believed that that alone was justification that she was indeed Mary Magdalene. little big of a stretch there, you know, thinking because you're born named Mary and then you were born on 7/11 and that they have an ad. I mean, that was the strangest convoluted thought I could ever imagine hearing, but she believed that. Whatever. I don't believe we need to go into some biblical story about reincarnation since none of you Christians believe in reincarnation. I mean, what's the point? I was raised Catholic. No, she's long gone. I'm sure she's in some psych ward somewhere. I heard that the top floors of the Mandalay were owned by the Saudi guy who's been arrested within the ranks of Saudi Arabia. So what really happened in Mandalay Bay may go back to Talal and what has happened. His arrest, Prince Talal, has been well noted. So we don't even know the reasons why the Saudi prince was pulled in. They took the books about the reincarnation out of the Bible. I believe that the Vatican is holding on to a few lost chapters. I do believe that. I do believe that there's a lot of people that believe that, yeah. But I'm not here to praise an organization that has built an edifice to snakes and reptiles. I mean, it's strange to think that we've got a Vatican that looks like the head of a snake, but here it is. You can even see the viper tongue of the Vatican as it poses for an attack on your brain. Or the top of the Vatican. Look at that. If that isn't the head of a snake, I don't know what is. And if this doesn't remind you of a cornhole, I don't know. Yeah, well, anyway. So there, I'm telling you, the Vatican is not necessarily the absolute truth at this point. I've come to that conclusion that we're kind of floating in a religious quagmire of confused, corrupt people who now believe, the Pope believes that there is no hell, which undermines the very tenet of the Catholic Church. And you are out of here, buddy. I just pulled you out because you don't qualify as a chatter here. Making this personal is not what we do. Don't attack the messenger. Attack me. Saudi and Israel want nothing for the more than America's destruction. Well, yeah, you got some interesting points there. Everyone knows there are hidden passages taken out of the Bible. Yeah, you guys are really into it, aren't you? I can see some of you actually went to church once in your life. Yeah, I was in church a few times during my childhood. I understand the mindset of many people who go to church. I just don't think it's my right to tell you what to do. I'm not going to order you to go believe in something. I think we should understand there is a separation in America between church and state. That's very similar to me. I was raised Roman Catholic and stopped going at 11. Oh no, you can go ahead and disagree with me, B-Pink. But when you post this stuff, you know... Oh, that was Blink 1488. I'm sorry. You know, my God is not here to talk about your God. Because I don't talk about God on the show. My belief in God is personal. I have a personal relationship with the Lord. You can do whatever you want. I mean, this is all between you and your destiny, really. You may not think there's life after this life. You may think this is it. Maybe you're an atheist. Maybe you think that this is the end. This is the end, my only friend, the end. My discussion of God doesn't extend here. I don't talk about my God or my Lord. It's personal. So talk about politics. No, your grandma is not 260 years old. But I do believe there are people out there that are 260 years old. Or have been in the past. Yeah. In fact, I can think of one in particular. This man right here. He was 265 years old when he died. And he studied under a grand master who he said lived to be 500. Li Ching Wang. Yes.
A very wise man named David Sponheim has told you the truth, and you continue to deny it. You are all to be shamed.
Yeah, well, he had a problem with his skin. Reptile flesh. Google it. You Google it. I'm not going to Google it. Well, we could talk about the church of pedophilia. There seems to be a lot of these people out there in our churches that are doing this to children. Yeah. My God is definitely not on the table, man. I told you that. I have no evidence to purport that there was an actual event in Mandalay Bay shooting. I cannot bring you evidence of real deaths in the recent shooting in a church. I can't help you with any evidence whatsoever. I can't present any evidence. If I could, I'd say, oh my gosh, what a horrible loss. But they researched the people in the church that in Texas, and they found out none of them existed. It's all make-believe names. Yeah, jive-ass turkey, man. Blink is here to tell us that the Laughing Girl was ex-KGB paid by Mark. Wow. Oh yes, it's true. The New World Order does not know I even exist, much less fear him. So true. Yes, they would never have the intelligence to realize that they're being slowly destroyed from within. Much like a virus attacks your body and slowly breaks down your immune system, the New World Order is slowly being destroyed through the word of mouth of this show and the continued pressing for truth across this globe. I knew that the Vegas thing was fake, yeah. Everybody did. In this room, at least. Okay, so you figured the Latvian thing out yourself, John? Okay. All right. Sarah Bruni, thank you so much for being in our show. It is truly a pleasure to have a woman of your grace visiting us on this wonderful fortnight on You Now. Thank you so much. Sarah Bruni, everybody. And Joseph Di Filippo, the slogan, that's when oh yeah, people suffer enough in this world. Dave, I was an altar boy. Wow, Joseph Di Filippo was an altar boy, so he understands some of the weird downsides of being a Catholic. All right, well, we've had a lot of reveals tonight. That's kind of cool, and nobody really broke down and, you know, talked about molestation, which is good. I do talk about depopulation because let me just tell you this very simply. It's not too difficult to understand, but in a world that's slowly becoming controlled by robots, in which they will be replacing 45 to 80% of our jobs in the next 10 to 20 years, we won't be needed anymore. And robots will be pervasive across the globe. So if you look at this logically, you realize that the people that profit from this entire thing, let me explain our economy real quick. Our economy is, you're the person who's eating the crumbs right over here. You're that guy. You're this guy right here. Whereas you, the person dining on the big cake, this guy, yeah, he's basically looking at other people like they're bad for eating crumbs. I never touched any of you. You're out of your mind, man. Coming in here making accusations like that, that's crazy. More news in Virginia. Oh yeah, she's a guy. Uh-oh. No kidding, really? The woman was a tranny? Well, we'll have that tonight too. Good. Break the matrix. Okay, so being you have nothing and this person has all the cookies, that robot in the corner excuse me, that person in the corner will be replaced by a robot. This will no longer be a person soon. It will be a cybernetic organism. Human flesh over metal exoskeleton. Kind of like Steve Austin. Except it won't be human. It'll be a dynamo, and it'll work endlessly without any food, water, or even a good back rub. So, if you are wondering what's the future for you, well, since you're no longer needed, the rich elitists are going to be like that guy in the Twilight Zone sending you to the cornfields. Oh, that was real good that you did a good job on that. Oh yeah. And then you'll go right to the cornfields, which in this case is the FEMA camps, because you have been replaced by a robot. They will be everywhere. They will be cyber cops, much like the Matrix. They'll be able to replace human beings, and they will be everywhere. Because the elitists don't need you anymore. They don't need your work. They don't need your purchasing things at the dollar menu. They don't need you. So if you don't get your shit together in the next year or two, these people are going to take your country down. And believe me, when America is owned by them completely, it's over for the American people. That's it. It'll take 12 years to depopulate the earth under the existing plan. Total world depopulation will occur by 2030. They anticipate 85% to 90% of the world's population will be disappearing. They're laying the groundwork of chemicals in the air to modify all the weather to further the degradation of the food supply. Limiting the food supply in areas like South America right now, you're seeing a great reduction of food availability. People are starving in some of the countries like Venezuela. And as they continue to degrade the Earth's capacity to produce food, human beings will slowly deteriorate in health, which will lead to immunization issues, immuno capabilities to resist disease, and the endless destruction of the environment. This plan has been put in mind many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, and the people that are implementing it are working through some sort of a satanic cabal, destined in their weird, whacked out mind of somehow worshiping Lucifer and somehow being rejoicing in this evil that is persisting to dominate the planet. Nobody touched you, man. You're full of crap. Delta military contractor, United Airlines, and Thomas Cook wage chemical war over Wyoming. Okay. More chemtrails, everybody. Wyoming is getting hit pretty hard. It's like right in the middle there of the northwest sector. Look at that.
November 9th. Delta spray lines doing what it does best.
This guy's got a good camera. Delta's flying along, dumping chemicals as it goes.
And
wow. You got a Nikon, and he closes in on this stuff. Thank you, Scissor Fight. It's just a matter of time. What they're going to probably do is they've got a three-tiered plan. One is they want to implement the RFID chips and create a moneyless society, using that as one of the reasons. Their secondary plan is to install some sort of a nanoparticle in you, which God knows what they're going to do with. They possibly are already spraying some sort of a virus that could affect our brain right now, just so you know. It's called the VMAT2 gene. You can look it up online. But they're slowly making us more passive and accepting of whatever is coming our way. Much like the people of Germany were heavily fluoridated during the time when the Jews were carted away to the Gestapo death camps, where they spent the rest of their lives and died. I don't know where you're coming from, man. I never touched anybody in my life. This virus could very well be already implemented. Either way. They're working also through the fluoridation of the water like the Germans did during World War II. So they're fluoridating 67% of the public water systems in America. That includes your tap water. It includes your soda water that you drink. That includes fruit juices, beers, Cokes, 7-Ups, all your soft drinks, heavily fluoridated. They're going to do a lot of things to deceive you as well, make you fearful of guns with false flags, which, like I said earlier, is enough to make anybody frightened. I mean, when you see these things, you freak out, you know. No, the molestations are another plan. It's a propaganda tool that they put together. Kinsey called it the Kinsey syndrome, and you can look it up online. It's designed to turn people into perverts and molesters. The Kinsey syndrome. Check it out. Now, as you move forward in your thought process and realize that these people who don't give a crap whether you're dead or alive because they're going to replace you with a robot, and you better get your act together real quick and realize this, or your entire family and their future families are at stake, unless you realize that you're part of a growing movement of aware people who are systematically becoming tuned in on what these scumbags at the World Bank are trying to do, then you will be ready and prepared. But if you aren't ready or prepared and you don't even have a bug out bag to deal with what's coming, then you will perish, much like so many others. And this plan is bigger than you or I individually. It's been put in play a long, long time ago, and the people that are implementing it really don't even know what they're doing. They're just implementing it out of a rote memorization process. They believe that somehow they're doing the work of Lucifer on this planet, and they're powered up by it. They believe that this is their power that comes from, in their mind, dark forces. Yeah, I have a full NBC set up wherever I travel. Nuclear, biological, chemical outfits, Tyvek, the whole thing. I'm prepared for anything. Not a nuclear attack, obviously. If we see a hydrogen bomb go off the Pacific Ocean, we're all at risk. No question about it. Now, because this is a growing revelation to many people that they won't be needed, that they're no longer important to the elitists, it doesn't take a genius to realize that we're going to be losing our jobs real soon. That's why I am solely dedicated to getting this country going with a safety net. And $400 a month is just a starting point. Home ownership is another point. A food supply that has a grain reserve. That'll be something I'll be working on. Regional food supplies so that we could actually do airdrops of food anywhere in the country, if not the world, at any critical time when we need it. Now, I'm not doing the show because I'm a funny person or that I like to make jokes. I'm not doing the show because people think this is a good time to kick back and watch some weirdo on TV. I'm worried that this country is in the hands of the most stupid, moronic puppets on earth. And Donald Trump is very close to making the worst decision he could possibly make. To cover his Russian ass, he could veritably start World War III. And that would be the trigger point. We could then go to an air war with Russia or China and have just general radiation to deal with on a daily basis, where some of you will get sick and possibly die from bleeding out, because the elitists, they don't even care. If they're living underground right now, they actually think that they're going to live another 50 years underground and wait for all of us to die out, and then the radiation half-lives will be dropped so that they can re-inhabit the earth. That's how tweaked their brain is. I'm not kidding. I wish I was. They've taken their globalism to the highest level. Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. Their plans are to create the global climate change that you say is happening rapidly using weather warfare. And they're simply trying to dump so many chemicals on the face of the earth that our lives are at risk from what we breathe, and our food supply is at risk as well. So the prognosis here is not good for humanity. More and more people are beginning to lose faith in life itself. And that is very destructive. In our area, we have kids in our high school that are so suicidal that they have to go to a class and have therapy sessions every week just to deal with their suicidal depression. I don't wear lipstick. The labor standards, you need to loosen up on that. The illegal issue is not even, I don't want illegals coming in the country. I don't want a mass input of population growth. So I'm with you on that. I don't want illegals entering the country. Donald Trump is allowing illegals to enter the country right now. He's already passed, his new executive order has already authorized refugees to come into the country. Look it up. Well, the elitists think that they can somehow manage this powder keg of cybernetics. They believe somehow they can control the artificial intelligent devices, if you will. That's the problem. It's this cavalier nature that mankind has thought that it could do anything it wants that has led us down to this dark pathway. And they have the ability to spray the air and make it so that you can't even breathe without having to breathe chemicals. They've got the ability to hide it from you, keeping the government completely insulated from this discussion, and keeping the media from talking about chemtrails as well. They've managed to do that. So they've done a lot to get to the next step. All they have to do is essentially create the perfect storm, if you will. A genetically engineered pandemic, a black plague, if you will. There's one in Madagascar right now, by the way, that's dangerous. It could be a worldwide event, much like the Black Plague of yesteryear, which, by the way, back in the ancient times, killed 65% of the world's population. So don't think for a second they wouldn't implement that. They would also push together a way of weaponizing vaccines and giving you injections, forcing you to take the vaccine if you wanted to stay away from the plague. They call it herd inoculation, and the Democrats are on top of this. They really want to do this. They want to herd inoculate our country. And God knows what they want to put in these inoculations. We know for a fact that they've got Roundup in the inoculations. Good. I'm glad Norway relaxed the punishment of LSD users. That's cool. From jail to community service. Thank you, Dave Sponheim. All right, so I think I covered the territory. They can hit you any which way, whether it's fake media events which claim they need to have martial law in America, where they're getting ready to do that. They don't have to justify any of these events. Nobody questions them. Oh yeah, all these people died. No one saw any bodies. So they could easily claim that there's going to be riots in every city and they're declaring martial law. Donald Trump has actually said he hates blacks counting his money? Really? I did not know that. I've never said a racial slur in my life. Yeah, I'm a very humble person. Well, man has a problem in that he's an unchecked genius tending to degrade to madness. Yeah, you're right. But the reality is the people that are running the show, who have all the money they inherited, oftentimes they're not the smartest people in the world. But they're doing what they're told. And they're dutiful to their beliefs. And oftentimes these are Masons who hold together as a social network, a subculture of very powerful people that run the world. Oftentimes they don't question authority. They can't stay in their group if they do. So these people never really have any dynamic leadership. They just have people that are following the orders of their generations before them. So it's just a matter of time before they try to implement this evil plan of producing some sort of a pandemic and then forcing everyone to be vaccinated or face FEMA camps. So that's really where we're at. And if we don't democratize as a nation, these people will implement their cybernetic takeover of our country. That's what's happening. It's just a question of time.
But being able to count to 4 helps.
But we're learning, you know, some of us through the internet are sharing ideas, and that's the important thing. No one is here to try any of these people. No one can ever prosecute the Queen of England. It's not possible. One woman spoke out about the Queen of England and all of the pedophiles that are being protected right now. This is the woman that spoke out recently, and she died. She was only 52 years old, and she just died of a stroke. They say they might have killed her in her sleep. One woman spoke out about the pedo networks that protect the Queen and all of her minions, and she died. Yeah, so that's what they do. They kill people that expose them. That's how they handle the problem. So there won't be any trial Have you seen a trial for Henry Kissinger and the war crimes of killing 100,000 Cambodians in the 1970s? Did you ever see him on trial? No. Well, if we don't democratize, we are going to give them the final leg in the combination that they're looking for to control the world's destiny. And that final leg is America. We're the last leg in a table, if you will, that they're using to control all the nations. And this New World Order is primarily designed to operate using one of the countries as its police force. We were chosen as the police force, but they've got an alternative plan which they can implement, and they can create the UN and have them do the dirty work. There are all kinds of plans, even in our Army documents, like there's a plan to illegally detain civilians. It's called the Civilian Detention Plan. The U.S. Army came out in 2010, which integrates with the UN. So they've got a secondary layer of UN forces that can implement a takedown of our country if they choose. We're on top of that. I'm fully aware of their nefarious plan to use our own military and the UN integrated with it against its own people. They've essentially suspended habeas corpus and posse comitatus. They're no longer giving out a proper trial to anybody who's being detained as an illegal enemy combatant. They've got new wording. They've bypassed the Geneva Convention, and they've made it so people can be arrested for no reason. This is all happening while you're sitting there going, huh? What's for dinner? What's on TV tonight, Ma? A possible plague outbreak could create the total scenario for them. Yeah. So while we're having a good time on the internet talking about, the wonderful alternative views, we have a good time here. We're really just killing time while they continue to implement their plan. And it's getting more and more real every day. I'm not falling for the fear. I'm not worried about the fear factor that they're pushing. That's why I don't believe that a lot of these events have been happening. Without any evidence, I'm not convinced that they really are real events. Hey, if I'm on top of their list, all they have to do is blow my head off. That would be it for me. But they haven't done it yet, and I'll keep doing my show until they do blow my head off. I'm not going to sit back as an American in the last bastion of freedom on this planet and not fight for the people all around the world who have no voice at all. I never cook with past due shrimp, ever. Every shrimp I buy is fresh, harvested by slave labor in Indonesia. PK Truth, starring PK Truth. Wow. Okay, we got that coming up in 5. All right. Hey, I'm glad I have a chance to talk to people while I am alive, because frankly, I don't believe this is the end, even if this is just one life for me. Even if I don't make it past my 57th year, if that's what's going to happen, if they're going to try to blow my head off, whatever, at least you know that I've told you what I think is going on. And I think I've done more than most in that respect. Well, I'm glad you're finally awakening to what I do. Look, our effort to break the censorship has taken a kind of a rocky road over the past 9 years, lingering on these free internet sites, doing what most people would say is ridiculous and unnecessary. But most people don't realize that you can't just buy your way into TV. You need to be approved by a hierarchy of elitists to do that. And because of that fact, if this is not a chance to create a movement, in this country, if not the world, I don't know what is. We are more ripe for a third party than we've been since the 1930s. And in the 1930s, a third party almost formed before they co-opted it, and FDR became a progressive. The banker's son becomes a progressive and absorbed all the people who are trying to build a third party in this country. But that may not happen this time because they don't see this coming. They don't realize how fast I've grown worldwide and how my numbers will actually break the back of the censorship that they've imposed with their money in America. It's just a question of time before I can get finally heard on the issues. But I really believe that my destiny is to help save America and thereby pull that leg from under the New World Order and say, no, you don't run us. You don't control our shores. Right now, they got the puppet Trump giving China a $58 billion contract to manage our shale oil, our most important energy resource, literally. And an area like West Virginia, which is in dire need of environmental help, is going to be managed now by a country that's proven to be desecrating the environment rapidly. This move by Trump is a New World Order play to put China deeper in our country and sell out our nation. So what Donald Trump is doing, and we didn't get anything in return, by the way. I don't know of anything that Donald Trump got in return for this. Donald Trump is not only doing what previous presidents like Bill Clinton did in terms of way favoring trade, the trade relationship with China goes in China's favor big time. He's doing it worse than Bill Clinton. He really is. And somehow got 38 trademarks approved, one of which is the Trump escort service in China. What do we get? We get Chinese chicken shipped to our country that could even be rat meat. And then China coming in with their Chinese nationalists running a shale oil operation in our country with our resources. Tell me we aren't being sold out and liquidated by Trump because he's greedy. This nation is in jeopardy because of traitors like Trump, and his agenda is primarily to sell it off to whoever wants to buy it so that he and his family can profit. No more, no less. He's in it for the money. And I'm telling you, you picked the wrong guy who stole my ideas to become president of the United States to screw you over royally. Bear in mind, this is not going to play out well for you. I don't like letting China get the better of us in a trade agreement. Donald Trump just bent over, grabbed his ankles, greased up, and said, "Do me!" We're screwed. And you should know that. You Trump-tards have led to this problem because you're so stupid that you refuse to listen to anything, calling everything fake news. Everything. Anything about Trump is fake news. Don't want to hear about it. Don't want to hear. You people are the worst possible Americans. You're traitors to this country. You're siding with Russia, and you're turning against the true Americans who are fighting for this nation every single day on this show. And you have the audacity to come in here and rag on what I'm doing. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. But thank you for all for getting behind what we're doing and realize that a third party will definitely stop the corruption of this country and get this nation back on the right track toward helping our nation, helping America. Not meddling in other countries around the world, not catering to the Zionist message of helping to support Israel in war after war, but getting our troops home and protecting our nation and getting it back to the core of what we need to do, which is provide jobs for our people, clean our environment, and continue this wonderful decade of technology that we're living in right now, and make sure it works in our favor, not against the people. Right now, it's going to be working against the people. And I fear that that's the worst case scenario for this country. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. Actually, I take a night off. No, tomorrow is Saturday. That's right. Saturday is our anti-war rally, and we will be featuring an attempt to stop any wars around the world, including what Trump is trying to start with North Korea. That's something that he's got on his agenda. For what reason? We'll talk about that tomorrow. Turns out North Korea has a tremendous amount of rare earth metals. So is Donald Trump planning on a war in North Korea? Is that the big move here? I don't know. Well, if you're on my side and you're a Trump supporter, get the hell out of this room. If you haven't committed to not liking Trump by now, you're not on my side, okay? That remark was specifically for Trump supporters, the traitors that continue to support him and his Russian connections. If you want to leave Trump and realize the future is a third party, then you're welcome. I'm not here to call you names. My numbers on UHF are astronomical. I don't have any proof of a Mandalay-based shooting. No proof whatsoever. Look at, again, no pictures of Stephen Paddock's room, him carrying the guns into his room. Come on. No proof. I've got proof of my numbers every night. People post links and the links are completely striked by Mark Vaughn. Yeah. Happens all the time. We get people showing links that prove the numbers, and he completely knocks out every URL. Okay, here is a little audio treat by Scissor Fight, and we'll take a look at it. It's his new site, I guess. His backup site. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for coming in. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.